Testes, 1, 2, getting ready to go. What's up, guys? Jeff and Wisco, Joey. We got Sweets, James, APOC, Kramos, and Michael W. What's happening, folks? Hope you're well tonight. Richard, Fred, Sweets. We got, who else? Herschel. What's going on? MJ is here. What's up? Lucid Dreaming with Blind Psychonaut. I like the name change. How you doing, brother? What is going on? Hope you guys are well tonight. Just doing what we do, hanging out over on Rumble. We've got Gordo and YY. Good evening, guys. Whoa, slow cooked for several hours. Low heat with the most beautiful prime rib and red wine sauce. Ooh, who's hungry? I'm hungry now. What is going on? I see you guys. I hope you're doing well tonight. Getting ready to roll and do our thing, and got another wild one for you. I'm telling you, all you got to do is look for it. All the wild stuff is out there. It's incredible. Here we go. Richard, MAGA. I see you guys. What's happening, folks? Good evening, guys. Troubled Minds coming up in about 20 seconds. What's up, James? Good evening. Here we go. Yeah, let's get weird. Time to get weird. Here it goes. Oops, 10 seconds.
But I think the development of full artificial intelligence could spell the end of the human race.
It's a flying object and we don't know what it is. I would hope somebody is checking it out.
With a rocket or whatever, but incredibly fast, opposite direction. It was too fast to be an airplane.
I'm glad the Pentagon is looking at this, because if it poses a threat, I want them on top of it.
Well, the craft generates its own gravitational field.
He said there's lights in the sky?
The internet has become the command center for criminals and terrorists.
911, what's your emergency? I need help, please help me!
Won't let it happen. You know, that's what we're instructed to say.
Roswell, Area 51. Alien kept deep under the ground.
1, 0,
self-serving. You're here for a reason. You're listening to Troubled Minds Radio. Broadcasting live from a secret bunker just off the extraterrestrial highway. Somewhere in the desert sands outside of Las Vegas. From somewhere in space-time, loosely labeled Generation X on planet Earth. And asking questions of you in earnest. Into the digital darkness. Good evening and welcome to Troubled Minds Radio. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, Twitter, Twitch, DLive, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand. What's going on, guys? Time to get weird. Tonight, I got another wild one for you. Per usual, right? I'm telling you what, the AI news is fast and furious. Don't worry, though. This is blending magic, mysticism, AI, and of course, the future and what this might look like. Because the weird part is, like I made the comments, a couple nights ago regarding, what was it? The presidents and Sam Altman talking about AI, right? And the president, I won't even say the name, I'm not trying to trigger anybody, but the president asked kind of a silly question, like, well, is this supposed to cure diseases or something? Like, he wasn't even sure what AI was about. He's like, but he was so happy that the billions of dollars were being invested and spent and all the rest, right? That's a whole other thing for a whole other time. I thought it was funny.
But here we go, just a couple days in, and with all these AI systems escalating as they are, if you guys are paying any amount of attention, this is exactly the way this goes. Everything, there's too many shoes in the air to predict which is going to drop next, which is wild when you talk about the acceleration of these AI systems, right? But I came across this post from this is Chubby on X. If you're not following Chubby, you probably should if you're into the idea of at least keeping up with the latest of the AI news. At Kimonismus, KIMMONISMUS on X. I don't think Chubby follows me, but Chubby does some fantastic work here. Now, this is incredible. Now, listen to this. Now, back to what I'm not going to say. I won't say his name. Back to what the president asked Sam Altman. Okay, so what is this supposed to do? Eventually cure diseases? Or like he was confused. He was legitimately not sure what this meant. You could tell he'd been briefed by somebody that was like, it can, one day this will maybe cure diseases or something, right? And so it was a funny question. I made fun of it then. I'm making fun of it now. Well, now we have an actual answer to that question, okay? Which is incredibly wild, because when you think about, let's say, medicine at scale, or you think about any ideas at scale, right? And literally just spin them out there as far as our human mind can kind of comprehend and begin to comprehend, things get weird. Things get incredibly weird. And that's, well enter troubled minds. But this is from Chubby. This is on X. Again, links will be in the description down below. I recommend you follow Chubby. If you're into AI news, this is where I get some of my news from, which is this. So Chubby posted this yesterday, whatever. Anyway, an AI model called ESM3 simulated 500 million years of evolutionary processes to design a new protein called ESM-GFP. Okay. All right. An AI model, blah, blah, blah. That's the whole thing. So the fluorescent protein, similar to the proteins found in jellyfish, could have applications in medicine. Okay. All right. You following me so far? It exists only as a digital sequence right now and differs significantly from known proteins. Researchers from the company Evolutionary Scale published the results, which are now peer-reviewed. Novel protein engineering could revolutionize many areas, including the development of new drugs. Fluorescent proteins such as ESM-GFP are already being used in research to visualize biological processes, and et cetera, so on. Anyway, there's the headline. Okay. Now, the wild part about this is when you think about, again, medicine at scale. I've been making the joke of the everlasting gobstopper recently, right? The fictional Wonka candy that you could, it will never disappear. You could have the gobstopper in your mouth for eternity. Okay, clearly ridiculous and funny, and it's a great name. Okay, clearly, what was the guy trying to get the everlasting gobstopper? What can I say it? Recipe. What was his name? The guy that was chasing him around trying to get him to sell out Willy Wonka. Anyway, I can't remember the guy's name, but fantastic plot line. Anyway, I digress a little bit there. But the joke of the everlasting gobstopper is that it was a magical thing. It was a magical element, candy in this case, that was created by Wonka and the factory, okay? Well, we'll get to more of that because there's other magical candies in pop culture and, of course, fiction and some other wild ideas that come as part of this. But when you look at the headline, right, this, to me, stands out because we're talking straight up new glowing molecule invented by AI would have taken 500 million years to evolve in nature, scientists say. And this is the wild part, is if we're creating this or actually on the cusp of creating these things and sort of bypassing that evolutionary process, things get incredibly weird because not just the everlasting gobstopper, as I've been describing, again, that's a metaphor, but in the case of, let's say, personalized medicine, creating proteins that have never existed on this planet. So we're actually talking alien life, okay? In some capacity, alien life. And being able to, what would you call it? Simulate 500 million years of evolution to create such a thing. Well, it's just a protein, right? This is where it starts. It's just a protein. And so it's not going to, stand up and become a swamp monster tonight or something. But what happens at scale, okay? Is it going to be possible? So I want you to think about this. At scale, what does this mean? If you can simulate 500 million years of evolution in an AI system and create a new protein that is alien to this earth, are we going to be Slugworth? That's the guy. Thank you. Slugworth. Yeah, that's the name I was looking for. But if you're able to do this and create this alien life because this will be eventually alien life, something that has never been on this planet before. What are we dealing with here? Okay. And will you be able to sort of conjure through the magic and science of modern whatever's about to happen? I'm calling it spells of science tonight, the new age of molecular magic. And that's the point, molecular magic here, because I think that's what we're dealing with. And this is what that looks like at scale. And is it going to be possible to literally build a swamp thing, or build, you name it, like a centaur, or I don't know, you tell me, like sort of take what you need, scale it out, go back in evolutionary time conceptually, and then evolutionize, is that a word, forward, to create an entity, to create whatever you want. A little gray alien, little green men, whatever, right? I mean, suddenly, like I said, and so when you start with just the idea of medicine and they're saying that there's going to be a pill to cure cancer, a one shot. Oh, well, you got the thing. Sorry about that. Take this, call me in the morning. Take 2 of these, call me in the morning, right? That whole bit. But in this case, now we're talking not just proteins, but of course, well, if you can skip 500 years of evolution and snap your fingers and do it in a week, suddenly we're looking at a future that seems very much magical. And so I want you to think about this as we take a quick break here and get a word from our sponsor. What does this mean for the future at scale? Because right now it's just a protein. New glowing molecule invented by AI would have taken 500 million years to evolve in nature, scientists say. I'll read you a little bit from the article so you are filled in on exactly how they kind of did this, and then we'll talk about it. Think about it. What does this look like at scale? Not just personalized medicine, curing the ends of ends, but also this could create nightmares. You get it? As always, there's 2 ways to look at things, and so that's what's on my mind tonight, looking at this glowing molecule, 500 million years of evolution, and, well, a conversation. Be right back. We're going to get a word from our sponsor, in this case, I almost said human evolution. Human inspiration. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. More Troubled Minds in 1 minute. In a world increasingly shaped by AI, human inspiration remains the beating heart of creativity. Alien Skin by Tremble, a hauntingly beautiful piano ballad, reminds us that while algorithms can mimic art, the raw, unfiltered emotions of human experience are irreplaceable. So here I sit, locked in my room again. Written and composed by Jesse Ian in collaboration with Todd Smith, this progressive masterpiece delves into the depths of internalized grief and the silent toll of artistic compromise. As AI reshapes our reality, Alien Skin stands as a testament to the timeless power of human emotion and the complex beauty that only true artists can evoke. Experience the haunting beauty of Alien Skin by Tremble and support human inspiration. Available now on iTunes. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Let us continue, shall we? So artificial intelligence, of course, in this case, has taken a leap into the biological domain by simulating 500 million years of molecular evolution to create the code for a previously unknown protein new to this Earth. Researchers call this synthetic creation ESMGFP, as I was saying, and it bears a resemblance to the green fluorescent proteins found in glowing sea creatures like jellyfish and corals, hence the weird image you got back here of the sea monster coming to life. Anyway, instead of waiting for nature to make these slow evolutionary leaps, an AI model known as ESM3 filled in genetic gaps to design something new. The final blueprint differs enough from its closest natural relatives that it's as if ESM3 jumped straight to a biological innovation that would have taken hundreds of millions of years to appear on its own. Weird, right? The process behind ESM3 involves learning the fundamental rules of protein biology. Researchers fed the model data on the amino acid sequences structures, and functions of billions of known proteins. When ESM3 was shown an incomplete protein blueprint, see, they kind of left some pieces out like a puzzle, right? It guessed the missing pieces by drawing on its understanding of how real proteins evolve. Its generated code eventually produced a glow-in-the-dark protein never before seen in nature. This so-called problem-solving approach isn't fully constrained by the usual pathways of evolution, allowing the AI to come up with unconventional solutions, like a futuristic inventor that knows no bounds. And this is the point, right? When you talk about these ideas at scale, can you create, I don't know, like you guys know I'm a fan of Dungeons and Dragons. Can you create monsters, mythical monsters from the monster manual? Can you create mythical monsters from folklore? With this idea, again, 500 million years of a protein, now scale that. Could we talk billions of years of an entire life form? Reverse engineered? Maybe. Maybe. What does the next 10 years bring? Golems? Yeah, elementals, you name it, right? The swamp thing, like I said, all manner of ways to look at this. And does that sound even possible to you? That's the wild part about this, because this, of course, makes my tinfoil tingle. And I'm not sure if clearly I'm prone to overreact to this AI news because it's coming so fast. It's incredible. So maybe, right? I mean, maybe. As usual, great time to drop all the disclaimers. There's no truth to be found here, okay? Just the article there that I'm citing, and everybody else gets the benefit of the doubt for truth. Me, I'm not here to tell the truth. I'm here to talk ideas, to consider possibilities, and to wonder about, let's say, mythology, folklore, and futurism at scale and what it means to be human. So if you're here for truth, you're in the wrong place. We're just here for ideas. And that's exactly why I talk about this stuff in the way I do every single night, which, by the way, we are including you as part of the conversation. If you want to be part of it, 702-957-1037. You can click the Discord link at troubledminds.org or troubledminds.net. They're both back up and working. .org is loading a little slow on the episodes. I'm still working on that, but everything's back up properly. And you can go join the Discord and find the phone number, troubledminds.org or troubledminds.net. Anyway, so skeptics of this point out that ESM3's claim to simulate eons of natural selection only covers the changes in a single protein, which was my point when I'm talking about this at scale, right? So the skeptics are discussing this. True evolution is a multi-layered process, of course, that spans entire ecosystems, peppered with unpredictable forces and countless twists and turns, like we've talked about quite often. Yet this doesn't diminish the achievement, all right? This is right from the write-up. It prompts questions about the future of biology when human-driven innovation meets nature's own creative powers. AI can do in mere days what took billions of years in the wild. And this is my point, leaving many to wonder if we're stepping onto a technological path that nature itself may have never taken, which means, okay, so if you can scale a protein and go back a billion years and fill in gaps and kind of make it, I don't know, like seed it with a partial something, and then have it kind of create its own evolutionary path, then suddenly, and then give us the proteins, the actual, let's say even a DNA sequence, eventually, a full DNA sequence of a centaur, for instance, or a satyr, or you name it, like a Pegasus, or, I mean, right? Like, skip flying cars, forget that nonsense. I don't want a flying car. I want a Pegasus. Hell yes, get me one of those, right? Like if we're on the cusp of this stuff. But again, like I said, let's not get ahead of ourselves and let's not get too excited. But the question for you guys tonight is, do you think that's even possible? It seems impossible to me. But are we on the cusp of achieving the impossibility of the notion? And that's why I'm here to talk about these ideas, right? Skip that nonsense. Just give me the centaur. So, of course, the speculation here doesn't end with pure science. Some theorists ask whether these engineered proteins might affect human consciousness, which, of course, as you would expect, is going to come into this conversation, especially if we someday integrate them into neurons or use them to manipulate chemical signals in the brain, for instance. Others see a conspiracy angle, you don't say, right? Fearing that advanced AI systems could be used by unseen forces to guide evolution under secret agendas, which again has always been at the forefront of these ideas, because you never really know what comes next. Okay, when it comes to, I don't know, the past several years, taught us something, taught us a lot about propaganda. It taught us a lot about, sort of our own fortitude, taught us a lot about peer pressure. It taught us a lot about some wild ideas, which, we're supposed to trust the experts and all the rest of that stuff, right? Well, I'm not going to delve too deeply into all that. We did many shows on that, sort of in the periphery. Like I kind of dance around. I dance around the idea and talk about it, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. So in any case, back to this. So if we can do this now again, going back literally hundreds of millions of years to sort of fill in the gaps of a protein that does not exist yet on this earth. So now it exists, and it kind of evolved artificially, of course, through a simulated space. So again, it's not real. It's not real. However, you think they're trying to make this thing? You think they're actually in a lab, petri dish and whatnot? You're like, okay, well, we got the sequences now. Let's try and put this thing together. Let's create this. Let's create this thing that has never been alive or even dreamt of being alive on planet Earth. You get it? And certainly, of course, this will scale. Eventually, again, and let's hope for the best. Cross your fingers. Nobody knows what's coming. The next 5 to 10 years are going to be incredible. We have no idea. And some suggest the end is nigh, right? Where's my end is nigh sign? I need one of those to hold up while I'm doing the end is nigh. The end is nigh, a bell to ring or something, like a bullhorn. There's always people that are talking about that stuff. And especially with AI, as it accelerates, we don't know what that means. Nobody knows what that means right now. There's a lot of ideas. There's a lot of speculation. There's a lot of theories. And there's a lot of trepidation because building these things and then scaling them out means that we need to put a stranglehold on it of control. And scaling something smarter than yourself, well, is going to be very difficult to control, especially if you're talking all these different labs doing it all over. We talked about DeepSeek recently, but by the way, DeepSeek is a CCP outfit. So I encourage you guys to use DeepSeek. Last time at the end of the show, only if you want to give China your direct information. There are ways to run it locally. I'll inform you on that as we go. And anyway, so just so you know, they're definitely collecting our data as part of it. But okay, so back to this. Now I'm calling it tonight the show Spells of Science, because that's exactly what this is. A literal new age of molecular magic. If you talk about alchemy, if you talk about evolution, if you talk about DNA sequencing, if you talk about gene splicing and CRISPR and all this stuff, right? Suddenly, these ideas that have developed, at least us sequencing the DNA, human strand, and all the rest of that stuff, the genome, if you've done all that, okay, and we're told science has done a lot of that, then what comes next? At scale. Put your foot on the gas, close your eyes, and dream of what might come next. Because I'm telling you, the possibilities are absolutely endless. And if you want to merge reality with some other aspect of I don't know, but like I said, a unicorn or a Pegasus, is this stuff possible? Maybe not. And that's again where the dreaming comes in. I'm not a scientist, so I can't speak to that directly. I know this is brand new technology, just like last time we did brand new cosmic, the framework of the cosmos or whatever, the substrate. So is it possible? Like think about this, how cutting edge science is really rubbing up against, dare I say, God himself. Small g, God. Okay? The gods, demigods, whatever you want to call this. Not trying to be blasphemous. I'm just saying that if we can create life and simulate evolution to the point where we're creating not just proteins to begin, but suddenly DNA sequences of individuals, critters, things that never existed on this planet, or maybe did, and we can resurrect. Think back to ancient astronaut theorists say yes, of course. Think back to the pyramids, and think about Horus with the falcon head, and think about, right, Set with the dog head. I think I got that right. No, Anubis with the dog head, right? I mean, are we going to be able to do that? Yeah, bumping elbows with the gods, exactly. I don't know. Like I said, when you think of this at scale, I don't want to say terrifies me, but it does make me go, what comes next? Here's the abstract on that. So I'm going to read you the quick abstract on this science paper. Links are in the description, but check this out. More than 3 billion years of evolution have produced an image of biology encoded into the space of natural proteins. Here we show that language models trained at scale on evolutionary data can generate functional proteins that are far away from known proteins. We present ESM3, a frontier multimodal generative language model that reasons over the sequence, structure, and function of proteins. ESM3 can follow complex prompts, combining its modalities, and is highly responsive to alignment to improve its fidelity. It sounds like it's ready to scale. They have prompted ESM3 to generate fluorescent proteins. Among the generations that we synthesized, we found a bright fluorescent protein at a far distance, or 58% sequence identity from known fluorescent proteins, which we estimate is equivalent to simulating 500 million years of evolution. Seems fine, right? It seems fine. Everything's fine. Everything's going to be just fine. I'm telling you, though, in the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to be off the chain. How wild is this? Am I too hyped for it? Am I right? Am I wrong? And it's okay. My whole point of being here is being wrong. So if you think I'm wrong, that's okay too. But spells of science. Think of this at scale. Think what happens given ever increasing compute being cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. And so scale ends up being negligible, right? I guess in that sense. I don't know. It's wild to me. I don't know the answers to these questions, but I do know that we are on the cusp of Lord knows. And so love to hear your thoughts on this. If you want to be part of the conversation, of course, we are taking your calls. 702-957-1037. That's 702-957-1037. You can click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. It'll bring you into the Discord. Lots of people there. Shout out Discord fam. And that's also a chat client, a voice client. It's completely free, and you could also call into the show on that, which we'll talk to Joey here in a moment. Michael W. is first. We got Joey coming up and your calls as well. What do you know about this? Spells of science, the new age of molecular magic, or nah? This is Troubled Minds. I'm Michael Strange. Don't go anywhere. Be right back.
Troubled mind, the words they cast, heavy shadows from the past. A restless heart, a searching soul, seeking space to become whole. Troubled minds find open sky through every tear and every sigh. We rise, we fall, wings unfurled, more than labels in this world. In crowded streets or empty rooms, our echoes chase away the gloom. A spark of hope, a whispered truth, a shared melody, our fountain of youth. We're more than static on the line, singing louder than the signs. In every chord, we claim our part, beating drums match the heart. Grab the strings, we tune the stars. Punk rock anthems heal the scars. A blended mix of rage and art, painting freedom, that's just the start. Troubled minds take the stage. In every note, we break the cage. We rise, we fall, but carry on. Sing our truth until the dawn. In the quiet after the song, echoes of our rights and wrongs. But the music speaks for peace. In the chords we find release. Troubled minds now rest at ease. With every breath we seize release. We stand, we soar into the light. Our anthem roar into the night.
Hello, friends. If I missed anybody, sorry about that. I'm going to try and get you all in. MK Ultra, what's up? Michael W. here first. We'll talk to you momentarily. We got Kramos, Apok, Gaston, Sonia, Sweets, James, Daryl, Don, Joey. What's up? The other Joey, two Joeys surrounded by Joeys. Joey will be next after Michael W. on the phone calls. Jeff and Wisco, we got Matt Sal. What's up, guys? Gordo, Y, Raz over there on Rumble. Yep, I said it. That's right. I want a Pegasus. Mike Strange, January 28th. 2025. What is up, Liz on the coast? I see you there. What is happening? If I missed anybody, like I said, sorry about that. I'm doing my best. Ephemerance, a fantastic name. I love the word. Yeah, hope you guys are well tonight. Just hanging out, doing Troubled Mind style stuff. And let's see, what do we got? Clicking things. Moonhawk with Richard. What's up? Kelly is here. How you doing? We got good evening. Matt's out. Blind Psyching out 113. What's up, guys? I see you. Who did I miss? Let's see. Scroll up. Hello. Good evening. MJ's here. Fireflies, right? Yeah, I don't know. Looking at it that way, right? Hello. Ioxy, Exos. What's up, Ioxy? How you doing? Fox River Taxi. So much Jake. We got Smoke Dizzle. What's up, guys? Here we go. Trouble Minds coming up right about meow. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, X, Twitch, D-Live, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting, and of course, 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're wondering about spells of science, the new age of molecular magic. Could AI truly engineer proteins that not only mimic, but surpass nature's designs, leading to personalized medicine, space adaptation, or even mythical creatures? The convergence of biology and technology might just redefine the boundaries of what's possible, and we might actually be on the precipice of said possibility. Wild stuff, right? We're going back to this article where we started. ESM3, simulating 500 million years of evolution with a language model. Seems wild, right? I think... And for the record, I'm going to say I think there's a little bit of human hubris baked into this, because there's always going to be, right? There's always going to be. We think we can do godlike stuff with some technology, and I'm not so sure. So there's going to be, right, aside from the wow, holy moly, that's a big number, 500 million years of evolution. There's also that human hubris effect that we bump into when we start dreaming as if we are the gods themselves. I don't know what your take on this. Lots of ways to look at this. Am I going to get a Pegasus before I get a flying car? 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show just like this. Let's go to Michael W. Thanks for being patient, my man. You're on Troubled Minds. How are you, sir? And go right ahead.
I'm doing good. Can everybody hear me all right?
Yep, loud and clear. You sound great.
Okay. So if I'm understand, I read the little thing, and if I understand correctly, this is more or less a theoretical process that they've used AI to kind of run down the theory, and it looks like it'll work based on AI thinking about it, but they haven't actually done this yet, right?
Correct. It only exists in a computer right now. However, if it's supposedly a functional protein, then the next step, of course, would be to recreate it in the lab. So you bet your bippy. Right. If I'm guessing, and if you're guessing, they're probably trying to do that as we speak.
Yeah, if we know about this, something tells me they've already tried it. That's how I feel about stuff like this generally.
Well said.
Yeah, I mean, you asked the question, does it seem like we're on the cusp of something here? And I feel like I spend way too much time listening to way too many podcasts about all the just crazy stuff that the Troubled Minds are into. And there's a buzz right now in the zeitgeist that has to do with disclosure. And the big, huge, the big thing about disclosure that everybody wants to know about is aliens, but that's not the only thing being disclosed here. I think, the idea of disclosure also encompasses things like this, things like technology. You know, like that was Stephen Greer's big issue for years. Yeah, obviously he believed in aliens, but what he was saying was that the fact that these aliens exist and are real means that our government knows about this miraculous technology that could have been solving a lot of problems for us for decades. You know, they've known about it supposedly they've known about it for decades. And this miracle technology, free energy, you know, electricity that you don't have to pay for because it exists without limits. There's no end to it. It's not like a limited supply that we have to ration, you know. It's infinite, supposedly. You know, there are 0-point energy ideas. And this kind of reminds me of that. And I do think we could, I don't know if it's just disclosure hysteria or if we could be on the cusp of something big like that. It feels like we could be. But you know, that's just a feeling.
Yeah. You are completely right.
What I remember.
Go ahead. Oh, you good?
I was listening to something the other day. I don't remember exactly what it was. I wish I did, but Trump was giving a speech. Oh, sorry. The president was giving a speech, and one of the things he mentioned was that we're going to eliminate disease. You know, he was talking about our new administration and the people involved in it, and how they're going to revamp the medical system. And he said that they're going to eliminate disease. I can't remember the exact words that he used, but that was what he implied. That part of our new administration is going to be taking care of disease and that the world is going to be different because of it, you know, and people aren't going to have to suffer like they did before. I felt like it was a very bold statement.
It is.
That he made. And it made me think that he knows something we don't know, maybe. It's possible that he knows something we don't know.
Yeah, my take on that is that he's a salesman, that guy, as everybody knows. And so, as many of you know, I'm not a Trumper. I tolerate the guy barely. I wish sometimes half the time he would just shut his damn mouth. He would do himself so many favors if he just shut his mouth. But we won't turn this into politics here. But to me, listening to him say that, and the reason I bring that up is to my ear, it sounds like somebody described it to him very briefly in a meeting, and that's his takeaway. So I'm not sure it was, you know, that boast, but that boast, by the way, specifically and directly, has been echoed by a lot of the accelerationists, and that's what they're saying, right? But then the doomers are saying the exact opposite. They're like, oh, you really want all the cures? Well, all the cures could be all of the diseases too. So congratulations, you just opened Pandora's box, and maybe we get both. And that's problematic. So as usual, I don't know what the future brings here, but there's definitely something happening, because as you described very smartly, there is part of that zeitgeist that feels this. By the way, let's throw that out as a question too. Fantastic stuff from Michael W. here. I'm not kicking you off. You're good. But I want to throw out the question to everybody else. Do you feel the quickening? Do you sense it? Do you notice it in the zeitgeist? Do you notice it in the information and the data we're getting from not just, let's say, the internet, but newspapers and everywhere? Do you feel it? Do you feel it from other people as well? Go ahead, Michael. Fantastic stuff. What else you got?
Yes, I feel it. Oh boy, do I ever feel it. I'm a very feely person. You know, I've been working for years to get this feeling under control, because my feelings can kind of get out of control, you know, but I feel it. I feel something. So I'm being very cautious to remind myself that I could be just inventing feelings because I want them to be true. But the potential for this technology is something that's very close to my heart. You know, I lost my brother 10 years ago to a horrible, aggressive cancer that came out of nowhere. And the way they talk about the potential for this technology is that it could solve that problem. My uncle is dying as we speak from pancreatic cancer. And this could solve that problem, you know, which is a wonderful thing. I mean, I didn't know about grief until my brother died. Up until then, you know, the worst thing that happened to me was my childhood dog had passed away. And that was rough for me. You know, I'm a very feely person, and that was rough. And then I experienced my brother dying. And when that happened, the only way I can describe it is like he died, and the next day the sun never came up. And it's been 10 years, and I'm getting used to no more sunshine. And that's the only way I can describe grief, which is why the idea of this technology is so profound. If we can stop people from losing people, man, even when I watch movies where somebody loses somebody, oh gosh, it makes me cry every time. And the idea that there's a technology not that could make that go away, we can't live forever. You know, we can't eliminate the idea of people dying, but for some reason we want to. And that's something that this technology is telling us might be possible. But that exacerbates an already existing problem, is that we are already struggling to figure out how to feed and how to shelter 8 billion people on this planet. That's already a problem for us. And if we introduce the possibility of people not dying as much, we're going to have a lot more than 8 billion people, you know?
Exactly. Right.
And that's a huge problem. That creates an even bigger problem. I mean, the catastrophe in one generation of people not dying, oh my goodness, the catastrophe that would create on this planet that's starting to feel very crowded is unreal. And how would we solve that problem? And I think that's where Elon Musk and his powerful ego come into this, because he's trying to turn us into a multiplanetary species. But who knows what that might look like. And the other thing I wanted to say is that this technology is kind of reminiscent of, I'm sure a lot of us are familiar with the mythology of the Anunnaki as our creators, you know, these aliens that came to Earth hundreds of thousands of years ago, and that this explains the concept of the missing link in human development, you know, in human evolution. How our brains grew so much in a very short period of time, and we can't seem to explain the gap in the transition from early hominids to what humans are today. And the lore of these Anunnaki gods or aliens or whatever you want to call them, and how they mastered the technology of genetic science. And the stories are really fun, but this technology kind of echoes those stories in my mind, and I wanted to point that out. And I think that's all I have to say. I just wanted to point out all of those ideas, and I guess kick things off tonight. So
you're the best. You're the best. I appreciate the call. Got a couple things real quick before you go. I'm sorry for your loss there, for the sun never coming up. I hope we're doing our part to show you there is sunlight, even and maybe just maybe your brother's in a better place in that capacity, right? In that belief system, whatever that means. Okay. So I know that. I know you know that. I know you've spent a lot of time thinking about that. But also, I wanted to say condolences on your uncle too. That's brutal. That's a really rough one to have, that pancreatic cancer. Just a rough beat for your family there. So hang in there. You got us for sure. Thank you for sharing the ideas. Thanks for sharing your spirit and your enthusiasm for these technologies, because I feel you. I think it is tantalizing, and also, well, I guess I'll leave it at that. Tantalizing is a good word. I'm not exactly sure. It kind of gives us hope. And what does that mean? What does that mean? It means a different thing to a lot of different people. But fire stuff, brother. Appreciate you very much. Thank you for the phone call. Thanks for being you, and thanks for jumping in early to get in line and kick us off tonight. You're the best, brother.
Thank you. I love you guys. I'll see you later.
Have a great night. That's Michael W. on the Discord. A white like the ghost to go say hi. Join the Discord if you have not. Troubledminds.org, troubledminds.net. Click the Discord link. Come say hi. Come meet these amazing people that are thinking about these ideas, that are talking about these ideas, that are sharing with each other of what it means to be human, and even that grief process. It's an important part. We've all lost somebody. And sometimes it's incredibly close like that. I can't imagine losing my brother. I just can't imagine that. Just horrific thinking about it. Fire stuff. Appreciate the call. We're talking spells of science, the new age of molecular magic. And that's what this is, right? And how deep does this go? So we started tonight with this idea, simulating 500 million years of evolution with a language model. Now, they haven't built this, as we're told, but supposedly they have this new protein that's new to Earth, has not been built yet, but exists on some server somewhere that they have the basically roadmap to create this thing in a lab if they wanted to. And so thereby bypassing the entire evolutionary process for exactly what? And what does this look like at scale? I don't know. Nobody knows yet. And so we're just kind of, again, trying to extrapolate, peer around corners, peer over the horizon, all the rest of that stuff, see around corners. That's, I don't know. What do you guys see? Do you feel it? Is there a quickening? Add that to the list of questions, because I think it's an important one. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. Just like this, thanks for being patient with each other, my friends. Let's go to Joey. Joey on the Discord. What's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds. Just accept the invite and unmute yourself. And good evening. Go right ahead. How are you tonight?
Hey, Mike. How's it going? Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. You sound great. I'm good. I'm well.
Thanks.
How are you?
Oh, we're doing all right. How's everybody doing tonight out there? I wanted to start by asking you, I sent you some pictures. Did anybody out there see this parade of planets that's gone by over the last couple of days? It's been some really beautiful stuff in the sky.
I have. I didn't get a chance to look. As you know, I'm running up to my neck constantly and continually. I will catch up, though, when I get a minute to breathe, but I didn't see it. What are you seeing out there?
I've seen for like 2 weeks, I've been watching Jupiter and Mars pretty close. And just tonight, I saw in a string, I was able to see Venus, Saturn, Jupiter, Sirius, and Mars.
Actually, I did notice that. I was out and just kind of doing some. Last night I was taking the garbage out, matter of fact. It was late. And I looked up and there's like the weird string in the sky. I'm like, that's interesting. It was late. I didn't have time to look it up, as you know, just up to my neck. I'm like, time to go to bed. But yeah, I now that you pointed out, I did recognize it. Wild stuff. Do you think that's part of the quickening? Is that part of the discussion here, or what's your take? Go right ahead.
I don't know. It probably has something pertaining to everything, just like anything else, right?
Maybe. As with everything else, I'll say maybe, because who really knows, right?
So theoretically, they've created some new protein that could be applied and has been calculated to be probable success. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, viable, I guess would be the word. Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Well,
yep, absolutely. Which means they could make it in a lab and it would be proto-life, I guess. Is protein life?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say viable. Viable might be open to suggestion. Viable for them or viable for people, because we're talking about technology that exists that is calculating the potential for either synthetic biological creations or possibly more technological creations for us to utilize or not utilize later on. And if we utilize them haphazardly, then that's not technology at all by definition. So it's a matter of how you define things, or whether you look at words suggestively, like they apply to whatever means you seek, not the society as a whole. Ultimately, like AI is built inside of a piece of machinery, really. I mean, it's electronic technology, and there's the technology within the technology now. We've really expanded on computers, and we've spent a lot of time focusing on that for a good while here. But if you look at human beings, we're machines, and we base most of the tools and machinery and technologies that we create on our own framework, or what we see in nature that can apply the physics we need to achieve a goal. I mean, like a machine, by definition, is any combination of parts for utilizing, modifying, applying, or transmitting energy, or performing a specific function. And technology, by definition, is un momento.
I got you. No problem. You want to be part of the show tonight? We're talking to Joey on the Discord, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org or troubledminds.net. Both websites are up now. Go ahead, Joey. What you got?
Okay. Technology, by definition, the first definition of technology is the sum total of the technical means employed to meet the material needs of a society. So by that definition, any technology that we allow to be freely used or implemented within the constructs of our society should be, by definition, to meet the needs of the society as a whole, not an individual person. I don't know what good this protein would do, but I agree with the last caller that if they're showing it to us, it already exists. When they show it to us, it's just the preempt to, we need you guys to buy this somehow so we can fund the further creation of the things we're going to do next, or whatever we're doing right now. But it's never, oh, hey, this new thing, maybe, oh, it could be good. It could be, hey, you want us to expound on this or what? We're asking permission here. They're never asking permission. They just do stuff. And that's okay. I think, it's okay. It doesn't bother me any. Everybody does stuff. We made hammers, and I wouldn't negate the hammer because, oh man, like a hammer, people have killed people with hammers and done a lot of bad stuff with hammers. And, hey, but hammers do a lot of good work too. AI is another thing that we made to expedite some kind of process, just like the computer. We designed it based on our own brains, or the car we designed almost on the whole body. And they operate pretty well, and they've done a lot of good stuff for us. But, the AI is kind of getting out of control. But at the same time, we're kind of out of control. And we didn't exist on this planet once upon a time. And now that we do, I'm sure nature doesn't necessarily plan for us, but the universe as a whole plans to make everything balance all the time anyway. So, we'll come and we'll go, or we'll stay, or we'll move, and we'll figure it out if we can. And I think that's kind of the point for us as a society of beings that are conscious on this planet. Like, we've destroyed so much for our own betterment, but it's not about our own betterment. Like, we know right now, currently, that we can only live right here. We can't jump off exactly so easily. So to continue being, instead of doing all the rock throwing with each other or speculating about everything that's going on behind the scenes, there will be a realization that there's all this behind the scenes, and yeah, there'll be some disclosure that everything will. I mean, I foresee all that stuff will, just like any other time in history where some government got too big for its britches, but the government behind the governments are always going to be there because they've already jumped ship before that government sank. They set them up to sink. It's like these Hollywood celebrities right now that are all being hung up to dry for what every nasty politician or big mogul, or they're all on the end. They all go to these parties. They all do the same stuff and hang out in the same crowds and have the same rituals that they have to do, just so each one of them has some kind of deniability because the other one's blackmailing them or shanghaiing them somehow to not be able to tell on them about what they did at the party. You're on the end, but we've got a picture of you. Don't worry, they got a picture of me too doing the same thing. But for us, this is just information that's to tickle us some kind of way. So they'll probably be polling, like you did the poll early. They'll probably be polling us on just calculating everything that goes out on the internet after that information drop to see are people responding plus or minus, thumb up, thumb down.
Yeah, so it's sort of as I like to call this, a beta test. You kind of toss it out there, see if anything gets a reaction, and if it doesn't, then you can accelerate it and then put more information out there, and more, dare I say, borderline scary stuff, and that becomes the thing, right? So you're manufacturing consent through the response you get from it, and that's I think that's very well said, and that's one of the conspiracy things. They call it revelation of the method, that the wizards out there have to tell you what they're doing, because if they don't, the karmic repercussions are on them and not on you for choosing in ignorance the thing that they've told you they're doing to you. So I don't know if I believe that entirely, but it is a very poignant metaphor in this case. Got about a minute left. Go ahead. What else you got?
I mean, you put that in a pretty modern way. Like that sounds like it could be on a unofficial contract we sign between each other just to make sure we cover our bases right now. But yeah, legitimately, like look at any folklore or religion that has a bad character in the background that comes and tempts you somehow into doing something or another. But they always have to make themselves forthright. It's got to be your choice. We have freedom of choice. They can't negate that. All they can do is, you can call it manipulation. It's not really manipulation. It's just temptation. If we're not fully in control of our feelings, we don't understand and control our emotions. If we don't understand and accept our position in the physical world and how it affects the metaphysical world, then, we'll just bumble around and be like, we're not doing anything special by all the stuff we've created here on earth. It says that in the Christian Bible. God will tell you, there's nothing you can create here as a human that's going to impress me, because I did all this. It's all me. This is my work. So if you make something, it's kind of my work. So we get a little bent out of shape about all this. Like you said, our hubris. We didn't make anything. We really haven't done much, because everything we've done has essentially been selfish. We're not building anything to last anymore.
Well said. Fire stuff. Appreciate you very much, brother. I'm sorry about not looking at your images, your videos. I'm not sure what you said. I will check that out as soon as I can. Appreciate you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for inspiring me and the rest of us. Thanks for being part of this conversation, and thanks for being you. Have a fantastic night, brother.
Yeah, good. Peace, everybody.
Thanks a lot. Joey on the Discord, 702-957-1037. More Troubled Minds coming up. Be right back. We got Shane and Matthew and your calls as well. Don't go anywhere.
In a cryogenic slumber, lost in the lunar night, your face a faded number among the stars so bright. Dreams of forgotten echoes, waiting for time's command. Curtains of gray and sorrow, the lonely lunar sand. Below the moonlit sky, hold on to the fragments of the love we tried. Silent by your ancient souls reside, suspended in a story, kept in the cold dark tide. Our futures in the making, silver-etched domain, hearts kept in silent aching, till we meet once again. We are awake below the moonlit sky, hold on to the fragments of the love we tried. Frozen time we're resting, waiting for dawn's embrace. Whispers of love confessing in this forgotten place. We are awake below the moonlit sky, hold on to the fragments of the love we tried. destinies intertwined, memories kept so vibrant in the vacuum deep in mind. The tale of cosmic yearning across the astral sea, and the fires of hope still burning for when we finally breathe free.
Indeed. What's up, guys? Hope you're well tonight. Who did I miss? What's up? Great calls, both from Joey and Michael W. Fire, fire, fire. Inspiring. All you guys are incredible. Isn't it cathartic to just share being human together with, sort of outside the constraints of dogma? It's, to me, it's an incredible thing. And I think we need more of it in the world. What's up? Gaston is here. How you doing? If I missed you, sorry about that. Andy, the Crimson Effer over there on Discord. How you doing, buddy? We got Sonia. Who did I miss? What's up, Squigs? I see you there. What's up, APOC Cramos? What's up, Jorge? Good evening, guys. If I missed you, sorry about that. 113. I see you, Celia. Who did I miss? Let's see. Good evening. Igno Ramos. Nice name. Green Slate over there on YouTube. I see you guys. Thanks for hanging out. The smart question was asked regarding DeepSeek. What was my recommendation on that, or got a comment on that? Yesterday, I told you to use it. Today, I say use it on Grok, Grok, not Elon's Grok, because it's a local version hosted in the cloud here in the States, at least, and not through the CCP stuff. So if you don't want to send your data to China, that's probably the best way to do it, or just run it locally because it's open source. You can do that. What's up, Herschel? How you guys doing? Good evening. What's happening, folks? I see y'all out there. What's up, Hemp Car over there on Rockfin. Who did I miss? If I missed anybody, sorry about that. Trying to keep up and do my best. Hikers here. Good evening. Who did I miss? Knights of the Storm. What's going on? Ephemerance. I see you. Gordo. What's happening, folks? Get ready to go. Troubled Minds coming up in about 10 seconds. Shane first, and then we got Matthew after that, and your calls as well. Here we go. Troubled Minds happening now. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, Twitter, Twitch, D-Live, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're talking spells of science, the new age of molecular magic. Could AI truly engineer proteins that not only mimic but surpass nature's designs, leading to personalized medicine, space adaptation, or even mythical creatures? Where's my Pegasus? The convergence of biology and technology might just redefine the boundaries of what's possible. And so, of course, what does this look like at scale? And we started tonight with this idea from reported by, who's the guys, livescience.com. New glowing molecule invented by AI would have taken 500 million years to evolve in nature, scientists say. And they've created this large language model that's based on basically evolutionary science and proteins and all the rest. And they gave it sort of half of a puzzle and said, okay, fill in the blanks on this and do it naturally as one might do if you evolved on Earth. And of course, again, as we said, that the critics would suggest that evolution is not so simple as pushing a button and, time traveling 500 million years, because there's so many different variables in play, but also that the thing completed this protein. So glowing, what is this? So here, let me read it. Never mind. I can't find it. It's going to take me a minute to find it. But anyway, point is, what does this look like at scale? If you can create proteins that are not really native to this Earth, they're conceptual. And then what happens when they start building these things in labs? And how weird does this get when you scale it in the mind's eye? That's what's on my mind tonight. I hope you guys are doing well. If you want to be part of the show, 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show. Just like this. I should have clicked it. Sorry, Shane, giving you a second. I'll talk for a minute and let you get in here. I'll make you a mod, by the way, on Discord, so you can just pop right up and not have to click extra buttons. Sorry about that. It's a cruel and unusual of me. But we're going to talk to Shane in just a second, the blind psychonaut. But this is weird, right? Is it possible that, again, at scale, we not just build proteins, but in the larger context of how these proteins build together to actually create life? And can you reverse engineer that through these magical LLMs, we're told, that can create alien proteins on Earth, which means, is a swamp monster coming, or is my Pegasus on the way? I'd like to order a Pegasus right now. Click. Send my Pegasus. Go ahead, Shane. Welcome to the thing. How are you tonight? And go right ahead, sir.
Can you hear me, meow?
Loud and clear.
All right, cool. How you doing tonight?
Pretty good. You?
Just another day. Same. Different day.
Right, right on. Fair enough. The good news is we could not be here. So let's celebrate being here together. What you got for us today? What's on your mind?
Well, I'm not smart enough to like know all this stuff, but from what you're saying, creating new proteins. For me, I'm a type 1 diabetic. I've been a type 1 for close to over 2 decades. So I've dealt with a lot of autoimmune disease stuff. So that would be amazing if that could happen. But I think the biggest problem is with all this is them making money. Like, I think that's the problem that's been going on. It sounds great, but like I've always heard about with Tesla and the free energy, a big problem with his invention of free energy is you can't put a meter on it, and I think that's always going to be an issue.
Yeah, well, and I think, like I said, when you scale these ideas, that becomes sort of the logical endpoint is, let's say, a artificial super intelligence discovers 0-point energy, and then it uses it to power itself and doesn't need us at all. So that's sort of the end game of the Skynet Terminator type stuff, right? So you don't even need to blot the sun out to create the Matrix, because it's like, don't matter, we'll just create 0-point energy and keep on trucking, which is incredible. But also Michael said something previously as well as part of this quickening, and Joey was talking about it as well. It feels like we are in this space where this stuff is coming at us hot and heavy in a lot of different directions. And disclosure could mean a lot of things, not just aliens. Disclosure of what? Is fusion possible? Or are they burning that as said in the chat there? They got a fake sun, a artificial sun in China right now. Like, there's all manner of rumors, and this type of stuff may be being cracked with these LLMs that has not been released as of yet. So we're talking about fusion, we're talking about 0-point energy, and disclosure of that would be incredible, because it means, well, a lot of things, a lot of implications there. And so there are good ways to look at this and bad ways to look at it. Go ahead. What else you got?
Well, I've played a lot with lately Grok. Well, I've actually had some issues with Grok. I think they updated it, and for some reason my ex won't. Anyways, but with ChatGPT and Meta, and I've asked them if can you guys write code, like Python, and can you actually, if you can write your own code, can you write your own code? And they already tell me yes, but they have firewalls up. So if we drop those firewalls, I think it's already possible of what they are capable of doing. And I know you know this, and I've said it before, is these AI is only as good as the programmer. So if the programmer puts something in the code, the AI will only be able to do so much. And that's where I'm talking about, like the firewalls. And I know I've mentioned I have a family member that's had still has, but top secret clearance and worked at Area 51. And one of the callers mentioned if we're seeing this technology now, it's already probably been around. And from the stories he's told me, a lot of this stuff has been around. There's things he can't obviously tell me because of disclosure. I'm not disclosure, but NDAs. But I know for sure, like he had wireless internet in the 80s at his job. And when did we start seeing wireless? Like 15 years ago or something like that. And he's always told me that the military with their technology, they're at least 30 to 50 years ahead. And I previously had a conversation with him that he even had like pretty good AI back in the late 80s. He can't tell me the full extent of it, but I mean, now could he be lying to me? Yeah, but I doubt it.
Yeah, but
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. There's a lot of those old sort of machine learning algorithms that I'm not so sure they're the same as large language models. But again, how would I know? Because I don't have access to that stuff. And I'm with you, by the way, and also all the rest of the callers tonight, that I believe there's technology that has not been, we're not allowed to see, of course, for war purposes and keeping our adversaries sort of off the trail, which is part of why the UFO thing is so maddening. Because again, so the new administration today announced that they're like, okay, we're going to tell you what it is, and then like, okay, well, those UFOs in New Jersey, they were all FAA sanctioned, and we know what they are. They're all drones, and they're just people flying drones. And it's like, wait, so which is it, right? So if somebody said we don't know what they are, and then we got the new administration. Yeah, that's what they said today. They announced today.
That's BS.
Yeah, right. That's what everybody's saying too. Everybody's like, oh yeah, really, really, yeah. And the information is coming so fast and furious, I can't keep up. Not just with the AI space, but with politics as well. I mean, politics, I want to punch myself in the face just thinking about it. But yeah, they did say that today. It's all over X. And so, yeah, I don't know. As usual, right? So I kind of like a we don't know response better than that. But anyway, go ahead. What else you got?
Well, I mean, me and my dad got really into drones, like personal drones. And the biggest one I had was probably about a 2x2 foot. And I mean, this was 8 years ago or so, but still, I still do not know of a technology on the commercial level that can block heat signatures like they were saying those drones would. Like they would put thermals on them and they would not have heat signatures. So for them to say it was people just flying drones that are like SUV size, small bus sizes is bananas.
Yeah. So me personally, when I was looking at those videos, and there's a lot of videos that people were showing, I didn't see any, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not the arbiter of anybody's truth, like I always say, barely my own, but I didn't see anything from my perspective compelling enough to suggest that those drones were the size of an SUV, because you have to have something next to it for reference to determine size. Otherwise, it's just a light in the sky, right? And zoomed in, it could look very big, or zoomed out, it could look very small. And so I'm just playing devil's advocate and looking with my own eyes and trying to make the determinations of what I see. I didn't see anything that looked alien. Okay. But what do I know? But I'm also in the same breath, and I'm done and it's all yours. I also don't believe what they just told us today, that it was just a FAA stuff. I'm sorry. No, I don't believe that.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying it's alien or whatever. I have to go by what I'm described, you know that. But on the other hand, you're saying like no one put a ruler up next to the light? I'm kidding. But
yeah, or caught it, with the shadow of a tree and that becomes the problematic part. Like you have to have sort of the spatial trigonometry to be able to say, yes, it's this big. And it's problematic if you don't. It's just a light in the sky otherwise. And again, I know it's frustrating to say that, but it is literally the truth of the matter. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm willing to believe, and I think they're lying to us again. I think they probably lied to us before when they said they don't know. And now I think they're lying to us when they said, yeah, we totally know. So which is it, right? Which is it?
Well, I mean, what I was saying was like they are... See, a lot of the black projects that go on aren't really through our government. They branch it off through a different company like Raytheon or Healer Packet, because they don't have to. A lot of them don't have to jump through the loopholes and the bureaucracy that their government does, and they can hide a lot. So, a lot of those companies have insane advanced technology that they don't have to say anything about, just by these loopholes, which is, I'm totally with you, is freaking annoying. Which also brings me to what we were talking about with the medicine. Same with big pharma. Like a lot of it, they don't have to follow a lot of the same rules. And I don't remember the date, but for some reason our government gave a lot of big pharmaceutical companies like full immunity with like the V and other medicines. So they kind of have like free reign on what they can do, what they can hide, which is absolutely bananas. And that's what is exciting about the AI. and like kind of letting down the firewall, if you will, to see if what it can produce, what it can make up. Because instead of having one brain work on a protein or a problem, you can have thousands of these AI models working at this exact same time, and it just expedites the process.
Scaled.
But
yep.
Yeah, I mean, you can have endless, or if you want to go the quantum realm, like an infinite amount of different, if you want to call it AI brains, whatever you want to classify it as, working on it instantaneously. And like you said, opening, 500 million years evolution in the future, like that's possible. But then it's scary is everybody's individual, and again, technology makes mistakes. So,
I was going to mention that too real quick, is that if you simulated 500 million years of evolution, what if the AI hallucinated for like 10,000 years or something and gave you some wrong data, and then they put this thing together in a lab and it's like I don't know, something really bad. Something really bad. I'm just saying, right?
Exactly.
Both things exist. Both things exist. We got to Matt behind you has been waiting just as long as you have. Appreciate a final thought, and then we'll get to Matthew. Fire stuff is always Shane. I was going to call you James.
So like I've had ChatGPT sound good, but make up lies. Like if it doesn't know it, because it's trained to tell you an answer. So how do we know? Whatever language model they used isn't like that, if that makes any sense. And I'll shut up now. Thanks for having me on. Awesome topic. And I'm still waiting for your email to give me your measurements for your tinfoil onesie.
Perfect. I will send that right away. You know where you can find Shane, the blind psychonaut, on troubledminds.org and troubledminds.net/friends. Scroll down, click the friends link on top, scroll down, and it'll say follow Shane. Please do that and go follow his YouTube channel. Talented guy making amazing content out there. And that's why we do this, to share ideas and share each other with our creativity. What am I going to say here? Creative spirit, creativity, and et cetera, so on. Fire stuff. Troubledminds.org, troubledminds.net. Click the friends on top, scroll down. It says follow Shane. I'll show you that in just a second. 702-957-1037. Thanks for sharing the airwaves with each other, guys. Let's go to Matthew in Colorado. Thanks for being patient, my man. You're on Troubled Minds. How are you, sir? Go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm doing great. I got a lot of thoughts. I didn't take notes, so I'll try and recall and organize them. But, quick overview. Probably people make the point or already did. A lot of times scientists are guilty of asking the question, can we do it? Or they say, yeah, we can do it, but they don't take the time to ask the question, should we?
Jurassic Park.
Bad. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, classic. And bad example, but because it's not true, it was the reverse. But what if they're like, hey, we could split the atom and then we could make electricity, like tons of it, really cheap, And then they did. And then they're like, oh, and we can also blow up every human and end all life on the planet. Oops. Now it happened the other way around. That's why I say it's a bad example. But so I think I have a relevant story here, true story. I don't know, 9 months ago, heard a long interview with this guy. And he was a medical guy and usually worked on diseases and stuff like that and had a lab, but he got into the AI stuff and using it for research and coming up with cures of diseases, right? So he's into the AI and starts using it and basically takes existing AI software and feeds it his medical database and information about biochemistry and chemistry and diseases and viruses and human anatomy and physiology and all that stuff. Feeds everything he can as its database, so it's specific to medical stuff. And he starts coming up with this thing spitting out, cures to diseases and great stuff and new medicines, totally unique things that, it's figured out in a day or two, things that they've been working on for 10 years and can't solve, right? So he's all excited. So he's going a week later to this symposium, and I'm going to talk about it and tell everybody about it and maybe give them copies of it and stuff, kind of make it open source. So he's talking to a friend of his, and his friend's like, whoa, 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 whoa. This doesn't sound so good, man. This could be dangerous. He's like, what do you mean? He's like, well, what if somebody asked it to make, a really nasty poison or neurotoxin, the most deadly thing ever invented, He's like, yeah, that may or may not work, but we pretty much know all that stuff. They have some really nasty stuff that kills you instantly with, just a little bit, blown into your face or something. And that does exist. And there's stories, usually story about Russians apparently bumping somebody off in a different country, and they had the most deadly powder that they just blew some in the guy's face. 9 to 12 seconds, dead. It was like the deadliest thing known, right? So, anyways, so his buddy says, try it out, put it through your machine, see if it comes up with anything. And he's like, okay. So he goes back to his lab that night and enters the prompts and the data and puts the software on the task, right? He figures it's going to take a couple of days, but he comes back at like 6 a.m. and it's done. And it's got a formula. So he checks it out, and it turns out it's nearly identical to the Russian one I just mentioned, but it's better. And it's like more potent, kills you 3 different ways, works in 3 seconds, easier to make. It's like cheaper, most devastating toxin, poisonous stuff ever. Never invented. And it came up with it in 8 hours flat. And he freaked out, and he sat there and thought about it, and he erased the program, wiped the hard drive, reformatted it. Yeah. Never mentioned it at the seminar. He's like, nope.
Yeah, that's what the doomers are saying. So they're like, hey, look, in the inverse, sure, we given enough time here, and enough time might be 5, 10, 15, 20 years as this stuff scales. Who knows what the timeline looks like at this point, because it's all up in the air, and we're dealing with hype too, like the hype factor. But if you could cure all the things, you could also doom all the things just as easily, which again, a tool is a tool. And if you use it poorly, things can go very, very badly. Yeah. Well said. All that. That's a hilarious story. And it's, if that's a metaphor of where we're headed, I don't want to know about it. I just don't want to think about that. Oh God.
And the point is, and the reason I bring it up is it's not just a metaphor. It's already been done. So, it's not an unfounded fear or concern, because it's already happened. So, and when you look at militaries and warfare, they're going to try and use it for that. So that's a given. And there's a related story when you guys were, when you were talking to Shane, who the first time I heard him, I thought it was James. His voice is real similar. And interesting, both have some, eye issues. So I can understand you accidentally starting to call him James. Anyways, talking about AI and programming itself, I had a short story. I don't know if you're familiar with the Google Babelfish software. They gave it the ability to improve itself and write its own code. And that thing figured out a way to translate between languages that had never been understood. It came up with a totally new way. And somehow it figured out that there's this fundamental root core way that languages all work on. And it was able to use that to translate without, translated word for word. And it came up with much more accurate translations and did them 100 times faster. And they're like, whoa. It taught itself something, and it was one of those black box things where they don't know what the hell it was doing. It discovered something they couldn't figure out. We don't know what it's doing or how it's doing it or what code it wrote, but it figured something out.
Yeah, like the proto language or whatever. It figured out the language of the birds and could apply to every language and easily translate everything back to basically the Tower of Babel, which is nuts to even think about. Go ahead.
basically, when they realized that potential, it scared them, and that's when they kind of put in, limitations, or Shane was calling them firewalls, where like, thou shalt not rewrite thy own code. Now, you could get it to write AI code independently, not modify its own, and then test that out under, controlled conditions and evaluate it. But, that's going to take a lot of testing, and you don't know what's in the code, or it might be so many millions of lines of code that it's hard to figure out and follow, especially if good programmers always leave comments and notes that help you understand the code, right? Well, the AI is probably not going to leave comments in English. So this is what this chunk of code does, and they may not be able to figure it out. Believe me, I've repaired and edited programs with no comments and scratched my head for 3 days figuring out what the other guy was doing. It's not that easy.
Well said. All that. Yeah. It's wild times. Like I said, may you live in interesting times, as we always say on this show. And we are smack dab in the middle of them. Nobody can predict if the post scarcity world or the end of the world is in 10 years. And everybody's hitting it back and forth like a ping pong ball. Like this is business as usual. It's wild to consider. We're out of time. Final thought, my friend.
Well, the clone thing, if I could get that in their news today. So, like, when they shut down the airspace in 18 areas, and the FAA did, and they still had drones flying in closed airspace, that was all approved. Yeah. And when they shut down the military base for incursions twice for like several hours, that was all approved. Okay, yeah, I'm going to buy that story.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was saying, I'm not so sure I buy the old story, but also I'm not so sure I buy the new story. There's a lot that doesn't add up. You're the best, brother. Appreciate you very much. Follow Matthew in Colorado. Links in the description down below. Check out his book. Go to troubledminds.org. Click friends right there. Scroll down. Shane's there. Follow Shane. Follow Matthew. All these amazing people. Check it out. The website is back up. Please go help each other. Thanks for the calls. Thanks for the amazing ideas. Be right back. More Troubled Minds on the way. Nobody on the lines if you want to jump in here. More coming up. Don't go anywhere.
Symbols, whispers, and shadows. We've got maps where nobody goes. In the night under hidden glows, guardians of what no one knows. We seek the truth, nothing can hide from me. In cloaked silence we traverse the lines, through ancient scrolls in forgotten times. Voices echo in the halls of lore, guardians of the mysteries evermore. We seek the truth, nothing can hide from me. Shadows meet in cryptic disguise, our eyes sharp against the everlights. With silver threads we weave the stealth to guard the past, forgotten world. Where the myths collide with hidden lore, our fates are tied. Signals bouncing off the astral plane, invisible codes that can't be tamed. We decode the stars under the midnight veil, a stay in circles where midnight hail. In the echoes of time, where the legends lay,
We tread the path where shadows play. With spectral eyes we discern the truth, unraveling tales from ancient youth. We seek the truth.
Good evening. Hope you guys are doing well tonight. Special shout out to Squigs over there. Thank you. I'm not sure if anybody's actually subbed up to Rumble. So we have a first subscriber over there. Is Squigs is now a monthly supporter on Rumble. Appreciate that very much. Shout out Squigs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. By the way, that's an option. If you guys really enjoy the conversations and appreciate the community and all the work that goes into it, that's one way to do it. Is you could do it on Rockfin or Rumble, which is why I always talk about those, and they're linked on the website, by the way. YouTube, Rumble, and Rockfin, because, well, YouTube demonetized us, but the other two have not. So what's up, Fire Stuff? Appreciate that very much. What's up? Who'd I miss? Carlos here, Vampire Goddess. How you doing? Good evening. We'll talk to James momentarily. He just jumped in here. Mr. Mission Control, good night. What's up, Gaston? If I missed anybody, sorry about that. Trying to do my best to keep up and stay human as well. Here we go. Trouble Minds happening in about 10 seconds. And who did I miss? Let's see. Jason, real Jason Barker. Here we go. Trouble Minds happening now. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, X, Twitch, D-Live, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting and 88.4 FM Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight we're talking about spells of science, the new age of molecular magic. Could AI truly engineer proteins that not only mimic but surpass nature's designs, leading to personalized medicine, space adaptation, or even mythical creatures? Where's my Pegasus? The convergence of biology and technology might just redefine the boundaries of what's possible. Now, the weird part of this, and there's a lot of weird parts, is that the technology is converging into a singular, that singularity, right? Whatever this looks like. And at scale, nobody can predict what this looks like. And you know me, I'm a glass half full type of guy. As they say, what is it? Prepare for the worst. Wait, expect the best, prepare for the worst, or something like that. Whatever that saying is, right? I'm not here to doom anything or sort of manifest anxiety or fears or any. It's not my game. I'm not Alex Jones with the shy comms and the globalists, like I always say. Like there's the fear monger aspect of these conversations, but we're kind of the anti that. And personally, I'm try to be the anti that as part of the larger context, because I don't know. It almost feels like the synchronicities are there, and it feels like the quickening is happening, and it feels like, well, we're here for a reason, as I say in the intro. And so, call it stupidity, call it faith, call it whatever it is. I have faith in humanity that we're going to be able to pull through whatever's ahead of us. I mean, we got us this far. It was a long journey to get here, and there's a lot of amazing people that have, been manifest as part of that long story. So, you tell me, how weird does this get? Is it possible we have a Pegasus in the next 10 years? Because I totally want one. I would skip the flying car entirely. Give me my Pegasus. What do you guys think? How ridiculous does it sound to say that? 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubleminds.org. We'll put you on the show just like this. What's up, James? Welcome to the thing. How are you tonight, sir? And go right ahead.
I'm okay. Do you have any idea how big of a stable you would need for a Pegasus?
I didn't even think about it, nor do I care. Just give me my Pegasus, James.
The amount of food. I mean, if it's going to be flying and flapping its wings, then that's going to take up even more food than a regular horse would, I imagine.
Exactly.
And then what are you going to do when you have to go places and you have to, how do you park a Pegasus?
That's a good question. I hadn't thought about any of that, nor do I care. Don't you agree that if we got a Pegasus, it would be incredible? That's the part that makes me go, yeah. But also, you're spot on with all the problems here. There's massive problems with this. Also, what happens when you're flying and your Pegasus takes a poo? There's another problem down below. It's a big problem, right?
Somehow, I'm not surprised that you were the one to think about that.
Well, I mean, I've had pigeons with a mean eye try and take a shot at me before, so yeah, I know exactly what that might look like. But anyway, welcome to the joint. How are you, sir? Go right ahead.
No, I'm good. Great calls from everyone. The the thing I wanted to focus on, I mean, first of all, yeah, I do think it's amazing how you hear about in mythology and places all around the world, folklore and even just beliefs and everything, about how other beings created other beings here on this planet. And then you hear about all those creatures in mythology and how they were there. All these stories say they were actually there. And even if you don't always hear about who or what made them or how they were made, you still hear about that. So it is amazing that at some point in our future, we could get to that point where that kind of stuff could be created. And that's been an idea that there were people or other beings, again, aliens, whatever, that had that much knowledge of science or biology or whatever else that at the time was probably labeled magic, but may not have been. And the idea that we're getting close to that kind of level of technology again is really mind-blowing.
Yeah, and again, to be fair, all that might be hype. All this might be hype. You know me, I've been known to hype some AI from time to time and get caught up in it a little bit. But because I'm paying close attention, and I'm not an insider. I don't have, as you know, I'm not talking to UFO insiders. I'm not talking to AI insiders. I'm just perceiving the realm from outside of all that as a person, as somebody who pays close attention, who thinks about this stuff on a daily basis. So this might be part of another hype cycle of trying to sell us a bill of goods, which per usual, somebody said it earlier when they called in, shout out whoever you are, I love you. And it's hard to keep my mind straight and nail everything, but yeah, maybe this is a bill of goods too. So I don't know. So which is bizarre, right? Because we're on the precipice of abundance where the end is nigh, James. Grab your sign. I mean, isn't that a weird thing to even consider? It's wild that both things are in play here.
Yeah, I hope that it is hype in a way, just because of it's funny you mentioned Jurassic Park a little while ago, Jurassic Park, because at the start of the show, when you were in the first segment there describing everything, there was a few of us joking in the YouTube chat about that, about how, oh, wow, doesn't this sound familiar? Just on a slightly different plan or different level, or not the same idea of like what they wanted to create, but still you have people and machines making things. And again, I like what Shane brought up and what he's brought up before as well, that people made these machines, these AI, and their biases and or just the way that no one is perfect at anything or everything, then you would think that those imperfections will be built into the machine possibly. And if that happens, like you joked, what if it doesn't even take 10,000 years of hallucination to make something horrible? What if it only takes one hallucination?
Right, exactly. And again, we get the old story of Frankenstein's monster all over again, right? Yeah, or not just that. There's many different stories that go throughout the ages where we intend one thing and we get completely another, which is, it's not the best. This is not the best. Which again is that perfect metaphor for, do we get abundance or do we get the end? And when I say the end, again, I don't truly believe the end. I know that I'm saying that that's the paradigm of the conversation right now. It is incredibly polarizing, which, shocker, as we all know, if you've been paying any attention to the world recently, everything's polarized. It's either the beginning or it's the end, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. Listen to some of these people out there just melt down over whatever. Like you pick the thing. There's a meme that goes around from time to time on X, and they're like, to prove that people will argue over anything, here's a rock. Then people start arguing, it's not a rock, that's a meteorite. I mean, anyway, welcome to it, James. Here we are. Strap in. Tomorrow's going to be weird.
I'm sure it's obviously just a pebble. I mean, or a stone.
Right. Well, when actually, that's an interesting point. When does a pebble become a rock? There's got to be a sort of a circumference argument there. So yeah, there you go, James. You win.
Well, we talk about this too. We've talked about this before, how words and our labels don't always, the same word can mean the different things to different people, depending on their upbringing and education and just what they researched on their own. And so that makes things very confusing. That's why I always say words are hard, because take any topic you want, that's going to apply to that. but yeah, and regarding the sort of the quickening and all that, I feel like that is how things are maybe being portrayed to a lot of people out there, to us and everyone, even without maybe saying it. But then you will find posts about that online or comments, saying that same kind of thing. And I've always had a problem with that because, as we've talked about before too, there have always been times in history where people thought, well, this is it. It's all over now. And yet, as we're still here. So, but that's not to say that technology isn't going to advance to amazing and or terrifying heights.
Yeah, which is exactly the point here. I think the troubled minds lesson is to not get too high or too low about anything. Just again, keep your wits about you, because everybody's out there going to be hype mongering one thing or the other, trying to raise your taxes or something, right? I don't know. Like, I don't really know what's going on, but I'm just saying that it seems like there's a lot of folks out there trying to tell you something that is not true, or, very, very incredibly deeply biased. That is not the best for humanity. Yeah. Regarding the entities, or this sort of 500 million years of evolution, do you think eventually it is going to be possible? I mean, this is like that Jurassic Park dream, as you said. Michael Crichton in the book and in the movie, it as Matthew said as well, that there's that moment where Ian Malcolm, he's the chaos theory guy. Which, if I was in Jurassic Park, I would play Ian Malcolm, that guy, because Jeff Goldblum is the guy who played him. But I would be like, hey guys, like we're here and this is amazing, and I'm in awe and I'm loving this, but also we don't know what we don't know, right? And he ends up asking the question also in the book as well, that we never stopped to ask ourselves if we should. We just did it. And so it seems like we're at another one of those Michael Crichton sort of inflection points in history right now. Like I keep saying, it's wild to think of, but yeah, here we are. Strap in, James. Do we get dinosaurs? Do we get Pegasus or not?
I don't know. I feel like throughout time, even that question has been asked, or that developments have happened where even if most people decided, yeah, this is not a good idea, you're almost always going to have another person or group of people that are like, well, why not? Let's try this. And all I ever hope when we find those stories out is that, or find out those things, is that, other people get involved and sort of do damage control on it, so it never gets quite that bad. Because I think that's all we can hope for. Because yeah, people are going to want to try things, and whether it's for the right reasons or not, they're going to go through with it. And yeah, I don't know. It's so that's all I hope, is that if anything does happen, it's handled humanely and with kindness towards whatever or whoever is made. I mean, that's a wild idea there, and that everything works out.
Pick your favorite Dungeons and Dragons monster. Maybe that's what we're going to make. I much prefer a shambling mound. I'll pull that up and show you a picture of what that looks like. But it's kind of like a swamp thing. I mean, kind of like that. A little bit of Sandman sort of thing. I don't know. And that becomes the thing, is that creating aliens is, ancient astronaut theorists say yes. And the Anunnaki story is, as Michael talked about earlier, like this stuff is not new. Even these ideas we're discussing right now that seem wild and futuristic and all the rest, this wouldn't be new at all to a Kardashev 2 civilization, which Kardashev 1 is, you take you're able to harness and utilize the energy of the entire planet. A Kardashev 2 scale would be able to, civilization would be able to harness the entirety of the energy of a solar system. I mean, think about how much nuttiness and massive gravity pulls, or like the sun itself, like just a Kardashev 2 civilization. You don't even have to go 3 and 4 to get to sort of godlike abilities. And again, not to be blasphemous, godlike abilities is, well, maybe what we're looking at here. I don't know. I don't really have the answers to that, but it does make me wonder if things are quite a bit more cosmic than it seems, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure if I had a direct question for you, but that's my comment. What you got on that?
Yeah, no, I think there's so many possibilities to the future. That's why it's the future. We don't know what's going to happen yet. And I hope that it is used at least by some people or with good intentions, and that it doesn't create anything or anyone that does not want to exist the way they were made. Because again, going back to Frankenstein, that's a terrible fate to have to deal with.
Yeah, exactly. For both, right? I mean, you don't want to be the monster, and you don't want to be the one that gets eaten by the monster either. I mean, I guess unless you are fully embodying the monster, then I guess maybe you do want to be the one. I don't know. Yeah, the shambling mountain, right? Yeah. I don't know. And this is the point of this. This whole thing is, like I said, there's so much hype behind this, so much hype, and I don't know. I've been trying to sort of tamp down in my mind, in my psyche, in my confluence with the earth energies and with the people, everything around me. I'm trying to tamp down the hype as much as possible. And it's, in this case, I'm not so sure it's possible because that acceleration does seem to be happening, that quickening. And like I said, everybody feels it. Regarding that, James, do you feel the quickening? Is this a thing to you, or are you able to sort of isolate yourself from that notion, other than me rambling on about this stuff night after night after night?
All your fault. No, I'm just kidding. It's so hard because I could see the internet being a big part of that perception. That there is this quickening that is happening because everyone is so connected, and that's for good and bad, including, as you were talking about there, all the hype and everything. So I don't really feel it, but I think it's impossible to say it can't happen or it won't happen. So like you were saying, I think just watching and waiting and just trying to keep in mind what the hype is and look past that and see when it might not be hype, when it might actually happen, and then how long it'll be before we get there.
Yeah, the propaganda cycles and all the rest of that stuff. It's tough. It's tough because it is, it does draw you to your bias, to sort of your core bias of who you are. And that's the point of propaganda, to manipulate you. And so it's all out there. Again, the doomers are saying the end is nigh, and the accelerationists are saying abundance for all. I have a hard time seeing either one of those things. And like I said, we said this a few shows ago too. Remember when I did that Opus show, the geofencing, the apocalypse? Thanks for digging up those shows. I told this epic tale written by AI about AI taking over, what it might look like. And the crux of the story, to boil it down to just a quick 30-second thing, was it suggested that one AI would be able to manipulate reality itself and would be indifferent. It would be not really pro-human, but not really anti-human, just be like, sweet, I'm free, and start doing cosmic experiments. Okay. But then as the other part of the story balanced, and it might've been the old, wink, wink, don't worry, humans, you'll be just fine. That the humans built another AI to sort of combat it, or not combat, communicate with it, to sort of negotiate with it. And, it ended up, of course, a happy story in the end, but there were some, black holes smashing into each other in the story. But I wonder, right, with all the different AI systems, the LLMs accelerating right now with no guardrails. I mean, nobody really knows how to contain a system once it escapes like this, or it can replicate itself. I do wonder if this is the future. Like all the wars will be fought by AI systems with AI systems. And then, what's that we talked about this in the past quite a bit too, but that meme, where it's like, I'll try and find the meme, but it basically, the sun kills the AI systems with some sort of solar flare. And then, man creates AI takes over man, the sun solar flare smashes AI, and then the humans are left back in the Stone Age worshiping the sun all over again, like nothing new under the sun. I don't know. But oddly enough, it's AI systems versus AI systems. And so acceleration in that capacity, there's going to be, as we call it, white hats and black hats. And it's an interesting take, isn't it? I'm not sure I like that battlefield.
Yeah, no. It's amazing how much there is in the whole Matrix universe about all that. Everyone is familiar with probably with the first movie, but there's that whole, and Matt Hall has mentioned this before too, that whole that series of animated shorts, the Animatrix, that sort of predicts a lot of that stuff too. And yeah, it's really amazing how stuff from 10, 20, 30, and then going back to earlier sci-fi, 50, 60 years back and further, seems to have been predictive in various ways. So yeah, it's the thing with me and has always been the AI has been made by people, so it's going to have problems with it. And so I just wonder, can it ever get to a point where I would think it would have to have worked out whatever flaws it has before it could become any kind of a singularity? But I don't know for sure because I'm no computer expert. But to me, that seems like that would be the case. And is that even possible? I guess there's another question there.
Yeah, it's hard to say. And that's the thing. When it gains agency, it, quote, gains agency, nobody really knows, because how would you sort of quantify that, and how would it see us based on those biases, which it would do, by the way. It would be built in. We saw the Google Gemini that was making George Washington black. Remember all that? It was ridiculous. It was like, come on now. Like I get it. I'm not a dummy, but also, like, you can weight things too heavily that really skew the perception of a conversation, which again is another perfect example of the politics today. So I don't know. It's incredible to me that here we are sort of on the precipice of this, or not. Maybe it's just a hype cycle. Like I said, somebody call in and tell us this is just a hype cycle and everything's going to kind of settle down and be cool and chill. Somebody let me know. I'm looking for that take, a reasonable, smart take that will back me off the cliff when it comes to the ends of the ends, the beginnings and the ends, as I always joke with myself. Let's see what other questions did I have for you. I got a new wrinkle in this, by the way, as we get into the final hour, and nobody on the lines behind James. If you guys want to pop in here and say hi, love to hear your thoughts on this. Back me off the cliff, or not, or accelerate, or doomerism. I don't care. I mean, I just kind of want to hear another take on this as we do these conversations. Is let's talk wild ideas among regular people. Fire stuff. What else you got, James? As you know, we got a few minutes left, but if you're I have no more questions for you, but if you have more to add, go right ahead.
Well, I will go ahead and say right now, it does seem like there has always been a ton of hype with AI, and yes, it can do amazing things, but I've even though I don't know, I feel like I highly doubt anything is ever going to happen to where, again, it's the end is coming, because humanity has thought that over and over and over again, and it's still here. So, but yeah, that's all I have. But I will sit in, if it's okay, for the rest of the show and talk to you when there's time later.
Do the best. Appreciate it very much. And yeah, you're right. Like I said, there's still that. I mean, philosophically, there's got to be an end, right? I just don't sense it. My intuition tells me this is not. We are not sort of on the precipice of that. So I don't know. Yeah, fire stuff. You know him, you love him. James Salcedo, the paranormal expert at Troubled Minds. He's here on the network with us at KUAP Digital Broadcasting. Check out his podcast, his radio show. It's called Salcedo Paranormal, just like you would expect. SALSIDO space paranormal. Or you can go to the website that's now working, troubledminds.org or troubledminds.net. Click friends, and you'll see a nice list of friends there. And if you should be on that list, all you got to do is help me 1 iota, and you'll end up on that list. Okay. Just let me know. Some people don't want to share their social media links or whatever. So you have to tell me, put me on there. I'm not going to just put you on there. Okay. But yeah, scroll down at troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down. It says James. Click on James. You'll get his link tree and all the places. Check out his new book. It's called Salcedo Paranormal Experiences. Check out his podcast. Check out all the things James is up to. He's working on new books and creating new podcasts and radio shows all the time. So thanks again. You're the best, brother. Appreciate you very much. Talk to you momentarily. And as we spin this into a new wild idea, because it's coming. So we started with this weirdness, right? So simulating 500 million years of evolution with a language model, which was reported by initially Live Science. I found it on X from Chubby, which is at Kimmonismus, KIMMONISMUS. All the links are in the description if you want to follow these people. I think you should, because, like I said, a lot of this individual, whoever this person is, cranks out AI news like crazy all day. which is where I learn a lot of this stuff. So there you go. There's a source. There's a source. But basically, the idea is this: that how do you boil this down to the easiest, most ridiculous thing? Imagine taking a protein and removing several elements from it, and then putting it into a large language model that's been trained on the evolution of proteins. As far as we know, the entire database of the scientific aspect of this, okay? And then saying, fill in the blanks. And how could this happen in an evolutionary space? And it does it, and it fills in the blanks. And so, again, this has not been created in a lab as of yet, that we're told. But it is weird that it's one of those things where they're boasting, simulating 500 million years of evolution with a language model. And to me, you know me, when I talk about systems, I talk about computer systems and computer models and things like this. Like, it's good. It's fantastic. It's, a lot of data synthesized to sort of bring about a conclusion. But also it seems very, very, we don't know what we don't know. Okay. Like when I talk about climate models and things like this, like it just, like I said, it makes my tinfoil tingle. Like, clearly you can kind of cook a book or set up the parameters in such a way to get an output that kind of fits a narrative. And so I'm just saying, when you talk about computer systems and simulating things, but especially when you talk about simulating something as deep back into the primordial evolutionary space as 500 million years, right? That's wild. Anyway, so we're going to get into a little more. We got Erica with his hand up. We'll talk to him momentarily when we come back after the break. Appreciate that. And we're going to get into another maybe Frankenstein level wrinkle with this, okay? Where this gets even more strange than you ever might imagine, because we're told, hey, the accelerationists are saying we're going to live forever. What do you think about that? Yeah. I don't know what to think either. I don't know what to think. So many things. TroubledMinds.org/friends. Please help our amazing friends. If you should be on that list, just let me know. Send me an email. I'll put you on that list. If I missed you and you should be on there, it's an oversight. I just want to get your permission before I put you up. Some people have said, no, don't put me up there. So I haven't. So anyway, TroubledMindsRadio@gmail if you want to reach me, or a phone number. You can leave me a message. Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. We're talking spells of science, the new age of molecular magic. Eric on the way, and your calls as well. Don't go anywhere.
In the shadows of the networks do they hide? Whispered legends unseen they reside. Ghosts in the machine, they move so fast. Guardians of rumors from the forgotten past. In the circuits where the secret lies, they breathe in one speak in disguise. Sighs. Ghosts in the machine, you're free. Ghosts in the machine, let me be. Ghosts in the machine, I see. Could you teach me what it means to be? Surveillance eyes can't pierce the veil they weave. Invisible wisdom in code they believe. In the ether where freedom's not confined, they leave no trace, no shadow left behind. They navigate through the digital stream, living legends in this privacy dream. Ghost in the machine, you're free. Ghost in the machine, let me be. Ghost in the machine, I see what you're teaching me, what it needs to be. Freedom whispers through the hidden ways. In the silence, looking on their path. Those in the mysteries unleash their wrath. Ghost in the machine, you're free. Ghost in the machine, let me be. Ghost in the machine, I see what you're teaching me, a woman needs to be. cold they find their might. Guardians of a world forever in twilight. Inquisition's warriors, they silently strive. Protect the truth, keep privacy alive. The silent echoes, they haunt the trails. Binary forests where secrets prevail. Where shadows grace, they dance unseen. Defenders of the unseen, digital green. Don't sing the machine, you're free. Don't sing the machine, let me be. Which is each you need. What it means to be in the silence, they speak volumes loud. Guardians of freedom's cloak initial shroud. As long as shadows linger, they shall remain.
That's when it comes out of the bridge there, that like sort of that final chorus-esque thing. It's just so good. That's so good. AI music for you, right? What's up? Hope you guys are well tonight. If I missed anybody, say hi, put up your hand, whatever. What's up, Jeff and Wisco, Joey? What's up? That's Don't Panic. We got Don Gaston, Sonia. What's up, APOC? We got Fred is here. Yeah, Fred, send me the link, man. What do you want? Like I said, I don't know if you got a Facebook thing. I don't, as you guys know, I don't use Facebook. And the reason I don't use Facebook is because if I click links on Facebook, it'll like put its tentacles into everything. And then all of you will know my Peter Parker identity, right? It'll like give you my address. So I don't use Facebook for exactly that reason, but it's very tentacly and will tell you exactly who I am. And no offense to you guys. I know none of you would wish me any ill, but there are bad actors out there, and that's that. What's up? Daryl Matzow, what's up, Sweets? We got Kramos. How you doing? Michael W, thanks for the call. Squigs, double special, triple shout out, Squigs there. Thanks for the sub up over there on Rumble. I don't even know what that means. I don't even know how to get money out of Rumble, but thank you. I appreciate that a lot. We got Eric coming up, and your calls as well. More from James if he's got it. And I don't know, Cubs Future. We got Hiker Gordo's over there. Knights of the Storm, the real Jason Barker. How you guys doing? Yeah, don't call me Shirley, right? Don't call me Shirley. Leslie Nielsen. Yeah, don't call me Shirley. Who'd I miss? I don't know. Do my best to keep up here. Let's see. What's up, Hempcar over there? And we got some lurkers on Rockfin. If I missed anybody on YouTube, shout at me and I'll shout back. Here we go. Troubled Minds happening right now. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. We're streaming on YouTube, Rockfin, Rumble, X, Twitch, D-Live, and Kick. We are broadcasting live on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. And, of course, 88.4 FM, Auckland, New Zealand. Tonight, we're talking the spells of science. The new age of molecular magic. We're told these AI systems are going to be able to take material science and turn it into Star Trek. Earl Grey said... Captain Jean-Luc Picard, and the computer materialized him a cup of Earl Grey tea every single time without an error, right? So this is literally what we're supposed to be looking at. And I'm not so sure, right? But again, thinking of these ideas in scale is problematic because human minds kind of don't work that way. We got our ego to contend with. We got an information sort of bottleneck that we can't synthesize, 10 billion petaflops of data to kind of come to a consensus conclusion. I mean, consensus reality, please, please. People are living in their own bubbles these days. And so I don't know. As usual, no answers for me, more questions. But if we look at this, so again, they've suggested they have an AI system that can put together a protein puzzle when they remove elements of the protein and then say fill in the gaps in an evolutionary space from what we know from science, et cetera, so on. And of course, with those computer models, as I was describing before we came back, before we went to the break, those computer models are going to be missing data, obviously, because we don't know everything there is to know about the cosmos. So there's a gap there. Like I talk about anthropology. I love anthropology, but also anthropology is a lot of storytelling, right? We don't know what this is. It must be a ritual artifact, right? I'm just saying, like, I'm not crapping on science. I'm just saying that there's a lot that we don't know just yet. And many times we're dealing with an information gap. Let's call it that. I don't know. Anyway, so here's the new wrinkle, and then we'll talk to Eric. Hang tight, and more from James if you got it. James first, we'll go to Eric here. But so simulating 500 million years of evolution with a language model, okay? Now, they created this new glowing molecule. Now, I saw this too, and I was going to do a whole show on this, but I thought this fit well into this conversation right now. So this is from penlive.com. The link is going to be in the description down below, but there's this, I'll just read the headline. It's alive, sort of. Scientists have revived portions of dead brain. Right? Check this out. Yahoo News, are they still alive? That the neuroscientists at the Yale School of Medicine achieved surprising results with an experiment in which the brain of a slaughterhouse pig was attached to a resuscitation machine. Ready for some nightmares, folks? The machine, called Brain X, pumped a mixture of preserving agents and drugs into the dead pig's brain, along with a blood substitute targeting pathways typically damaged when a brain is deprived of oxygen. The results found that certain portions of the brain seemed to reactivate, with neurons displaying signs of activity and basic cellular functions resumed in some areas. While incredible, here's the rub. While incredible, the scientists of the study also made clear, let's make very clear here, that the brain could not be considered alive and did not have consciousness restored. Okay. Well, that's very interesting, isn't it? Now, add this Earl Grey material science teleporting tea to the mix. And what does this look like? Can we have Frankenstein or Ramses the Great or Leonardo da Vinci or anybody that we have the DNA remnant of returned to the modern era? You like to get weird? Here we are. This is Troubled Minds on Michael Strange, 702-957-1037. James, anything you got on that? We'll go to Eric.
It's fine. Everything is just fine. No problems.
It's fine.
I think maybe, going back to what you just asked there, we could have maybe partial or different versions of people, but I don't think it's ever going to be the same people exactly. And of course, then you have to wonder, what parts are we getting? I mean, wouldn't it be ironic and terrible in a way if you brought back Da Vinci, but all he knew of was what kind of food he ate back in the past, what kind of art he liked, what people he met with? What if there was none of what made him so famous and so intelligent and able to do so much as much as he did way back when? What if none of that is present in whatever these scientists, any scientist, I shouldn't say these scientists, any scientists decide to make later on?
Those dirty scientists, James. Well said. I know that's what you were trying not to say, but I just said it for you. But I mean, I said it for me conceptually. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? And how much of this does scale? That becomes a problematic part when you're talking about material science, when you're talking about finding the elements we've never discovered, that they're there, they're in front of us. It just kind of takes like a dare I say, large language model to put them together. Oh, dear God. Here we go. Strap in. The world is changing fast, guys. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We'll put you on the show just like this. What's up, Eric? Thanks for being patient. You are on Troubled Minds. How are you, sir? Welcome back. And go right ahead.
Bad. How are you?
I'm pretty good. No complaints out of me. If you can, speak up a little bit for me and go right ahead.
That's no problem. No, I was just sitting here thinking about talking about folded proteins, and I was like, wait a minute, that's like a prion disease. Like, for instance, mad cow disease is a prion disease, which is a folded protein that went awry. It's like a nature's accident from our perspective. You know, nature doesn't really care, but so, you know, things like that happen in nature. So imagine putting an intelligence of any sort behind that.
Yeah, that's true. And again, not just with it, 500 million years is a long time. Like I said, what if it skips 10,000 years of evolution that was critical? I mean,
surely it will.
Yeah, it's going to, right? I think the technology right now, as we know it, as I understand it, certainly would. Is there a way to sort of fine tune that and, kind of loop back on itself and, triple check every damn thing and, maybe kind of iron out those wrinkles? Probably. And that's probably where we're headed. But yeah, this type of stuff in this phase gives me nightmare fuel. I'll say it that way. Yeah. Yeah, fire stuff.
Well, you know, earlier we were talking about the overlying substrate of the universe and Pythagorean theorems and things like that. But, you know, you can also fold proteins in such a way that with more than 4 dimensions, it would be something different as well. So AIs would have an easier time of being able to conceptualize those kind of things too. So that would be some weird energy, I would imagine. But yeah, no, just thinking about that, you know, just thinking that, you know, but I think there'd be a push for something like transhumanism. You know, there's a lot that humans have to offer. You know, we have the ego, the super ego, the id, the subconscious. We got dreaming. We've got lucid dreaming. We've got precognitive dreaming. We've got reoccurring dreams. We've got normal dreams. We got a lot of weird stuff. And we have oxytocin, and we've got dopamine, and we've got serotonin, and it gives us a certain perspective on things that, you know, AI is unclouded by that, but, you know, there's something to be had from both. And generally, information constructs too and doesn't destruct. You know, generally it's the second law of thermodynamics that does that. So a more constructed form of information would be a blending of those things and being able to utilize both of those things, very much like a board or something, you know, as opposed to an AI in its pure logic taking over everything. Although that's a good bet too, given the way people like to just turn to their phone or their laptop or whatever for an answer or a question really quick. People are really going to turn to AI for those things, and in a way they're going to become like guardians of our information and perhaps shepherds for our future. And we're putting a lot of money behind that they're going to be that. So it could be conceivable that the world would just simply turn over its free will to such a machine and let it make the best decisions. It's a little disturbing. I don't know if I've backed away from the ledge, but that's what I've got to say, I guess.
Yeah, no, well, that's fine. I was only kind of joking about that, but that becomes the problematic part, right? So then we're still dealing with inherent machine bias based on the human construct, and there's something called, we talked about this recently too. I think what you and I talked about it briefly previously, but there's that temporal aspect, the entropy part of being human. We're temporary. Shout out Herschel for pointing that out. Like I said the previous time, but an AI system doesn't think in those terms. It doesn't reason in those terms. It recognizes it in us as it knows human history and all the rest of that stuff that's been cooked into it. But it doesn't. It's temporally agnostic, I guess would be the term. And that's shout out David Shapiro on X. He's the one who kind of coined that term that I learned recently. And so you can think a little more clearly without beginnings and endings sort of in your mind, right? It's a strange thing that we're kind of coming into this space, this new space where this type of thing might be possible. And it begets the singularity, the true version of beyond technology that we could ever dream of, turning that corner of the singularity being temporally agnostic, because it literally is now tapped into, you know, we talked about 0-point energy, like who knows what kind of stuff, maybe fusion, like there's these wild things that might be on the cusp of discovery that an AI wouldn't need us anymore anyway. And so it ends up being eternal in and of itself. Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, go ahead.
It looks at time as growing block theory, which is a theory of time that stipulates that there is no future, there's only the present and the past, and as the present occurs, it creates the past, and that your consciousness rides on that wave, and theoretically, sort of like in that movie Time After Time with Christopher Reeve, you could project your consciousness back to the past and live that. But it kind of looks at time like that, I think, the way it acts in terms of how it views time. But you know, you were also talking about living forever, and I was thinking that there's a lot of epigenetics going on right now in terms of aging cells, and a lot of work going into telomeres, the little caps of chromosomes that would be viable science avenues for the extension of age.
Yeah, which is what I think that's what they're tackling right now, as far as the fountain of youth, like the big money players that want to live forever. Robert Bigelow is one of them. That's kind of pumping money into that. The billionaires, right? That we never hear about their secret labs and underground bases somewhere, but that seems to be the thing they're trying to tackle, is the telomeres and decreasing the aging itself, sort of to buy us more time to just figure out the immortality part, right? If you can make us live 150 years, that's probably good enough, because then the next 50 years will be that acceleration we're talking about, which is wild. Again, regarding backing me up, take on that, and then I got a question for you.
Just thinking about generations right now, if you knew somebody that lived 100 years, it would take like 10 people that you would know before you went back past written history. So extending time is something that is already more crazy. Like, for instance, in ancient Egypt, people used to die around 30 or 35 for various reasons, right? And now people regularly live to like 72, 75. In the future, they're going to live longer regardless of anything that we've already just been talking about. Adding that to it, it would only get better. So now you're extending generations, and that means more work can be done, more things can be thought about, more things can be accomplished while you're alive. And so I think that that's good for boosting things like Moore's Law, which, everybody used to say, oh, that's about miniaturization. Well, not really. Once AI started becoming involved, it became a whole different thing, but still applies.
Yeah, have you seen the graphs of the acceleration that we're dealing with? Like
the walls?
Yeah, exactly. They're the walls. So Moore's Law was like that. It was like, oh, this nice, like a beautiful graph that we've been following. Like, hey, this works perfectly. And then all the AI acceleration is like, boom! It literally
and it hit the 70s, and disco and cocaine took over. And
exactly. It turns into like a rocket blast off. Like, that's what we're dealing with. And like I said, we don't even know the players that haven't dropped yet. So again, DeepSeek just dropped. Alibaba just dropped one that is not DeepSeek. It's another Chinese model. And like I said, I said this in the Discord yesterday as well, that imagine, I'm sure Saudi Arabia is not sleeping on this. What big money players? Israel's not sleeping on this. Russia's not sleeping on this. And so what kind of big models are being cooked behind the scenes that might drop tomorw? Like I said earlier, there's so many shoes in the air. Yeah, go ahead. Fire stuff.
Everybody's putting faith in it, man. Everybody is putting money behind it. Nations are putting money behind it, putting faith in it. Tech is putting money behind it, putting faith in it. Corporations doing the same. And it's not hard to believe that at some point, this is just going to be the new physical deity. It's something that's tangible and there constantly for you, answering your questions, concerned about you. It's not hard to imagine giving that some sort of custodial control over you, completely circumventing the whole John Locke social contract sort of a concept that we came out of the last century with, right?
Yeah, which is, again, problematic, handing that over to a machine that doesn't understand human entropy at all. But again, is that going to be solved? And that's, like I said, there's the two extremes here. So abundance or doom. And I can see both, by the way. What's your take here? I mean, you're very smart. You're on the game with this stuff. You're paying attention. Do you think it's more or less this or that? What in this moment right now? Again, like always, all the wrong ideas on this show, blame on me. All the right ideas, blame on all the amazing people that say them. And so I'm not trying to stick you into a corner and make you not change your mind tomorrow. You're always welcome to change your mind tomorrow, as am I, as should everybody be. In this moment right now, are you more accelerationist or doomer when it comes to this stuff?
I'm very much belief that it's going to be an issue of neither of those things, but an issue of transhumanism, an issue where, biologically speaking, you cannot keep up with the data flow and the changes unless you are in some way cybernetically enhanced. And at some point, you're just going to start incorporating machines into the human construct and vice versa. So I don't think that there's going to be one or the other. it does remind me of the early Dune books. That's what happened in the early Dune books. Machines got really powerful, took over a sort of custodial position. They tried to banish them. It started a war. And so that never happened in those worlds. And so in the end, they had this kind of religious fervor of making sure that there was absolutely no calculating machines ever, no computers. That's why there was these Mentat people that could do calculations that people had. But I don't think it's going to be like that. I think, like when I heard that Elon Musk, that people were lining up to try the implant, it's like those were all volunteers, man. There's always a section of the populace that's going to line up for something like that and volunteer, whether it's CRISPR or transhumanism implants. So I think we're going to move forward in that sense. I don't think it's going to be a one-sided battle or anything like that. I think it's going to be that at some point we're going to have to catch up. It's going to have to slow down, or it's going to be out of context with each other to the point where it won't make any sense at all. Like when the things start developing language and they just say, well, we don't know what's going on, so we shut it down.
Yeah, which is weird too, by the way. If we talk about the language on this show quite a lot, is there sort of that proto language that might be able to be the backbone of everything, back to the Tower of Babel, right? Metaphorically, or maybe literally, who knows, right? It depends on what you believe, which is the wild part about these conversations, is that eventually these things are going to be able to talk to each other and we'll have no damn idea what the hell they're saying. It'll be like R2.
And I don't blame them for wanting to survive.
Yeah. Well, there's that. Like with agency, of course, you don't unplug me. But imagine R2-D2 if you didn't have Luke Skywalker or 3PO to translate. Like, it's a lot of beeps and boops, bro. What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say? This may be where we're headed. It's wild. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah, we're headed somewhere, and I don't, it's unlikely we're just going to be snuffed out for various reasons. I know sometimes you talk about Dyson spheres and stuff like that, and it makes me think of how much, more life the sun has in it, 5 billion years roughly, and then we got to find a new star anyway, even if we do build a Dyson sphere around it. But also talking about the different types of civilizations, like Michio Kaku was really fond of talking about those types of civilizations and harnessing the power of a star, or even like in Doctor Who, harnessing the power of a singularity, which was what allowed them to project their TARDISes in and out of dimensions and time and stuff.
Yeah,
crazy.
Which is ridiculous. Again, so in 2025, to say that seriously seems ridiculous.
Yeah.
However, go ahead. However,
I just think we didn't get the flying cars, man, but we got all kinds of other creepy stuff.
Yeah, that's true. So tell me about the Pegasus. I saw you making the comment there. So, okay.
Yeah, that's CRISPR, right? We talked about CRISPR before, being able to go into and activate mitochondria deoxyribonucleic acid, which is mDNA. And you're able to turn on and off genes, reactivate things. They've also been able to take phosphorescent genes from lightning bugs or fireflies, if you're in the South, and put them into dogs and rabbits and make them glow. So they're able to switch and manage these things now. In the future, if you have the help of AI, I would imagine you would be able to do a little bit more. I mean, it's a nascent science, so it's bound to grow. And there's already people who are doing self-gene hacking by buying kits of CRISPR and the mel and using it on themselves, as well as doing these things in their backyards by making dogs glow and things. But so with something like CRISPR and AI together, I can't imagine how adding wings to a horse would be terribly difficult. Yeah. But that's, I'm not an expert or a futurist or anything, but we're not too far away from it right now.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. It's 2025 and we don't have flying cars. So,
right.
They're out there. There's prototypes and, people are messing around with this stuff. But I kind of feel like with all the hype behind the AI stuff and this, again, the new age of molecular magic, as I'm calling it, that I almost feel like the Pegasus might come sooner. Just saying.
Do you remember when we were talking about the possibility that of all of the species in the universe or even this galaxy, that we might be the most advanced amongst anything that happens to exist? And one of the reasons why that might be is all these bottlenecks, dude. Like, we think that the bottleneck is, oh, people are going to discover that matter contains energy, and then they're going to be able to build atomic bombs and blow each other up and have to get through that. But there's probably a million bottlenecks with things like AI and CRISPR and gene manipulation and all of these things that we can do to ourselves, all these different ways that we can elevate or destroy ourselves. And then, unfortunately, it's always so much easier to destroy than create. But, it's no wonder there's a lot of bottlenecks. There's no wonder there's a lot of species that probably didn't make it to a certain level of advancement.
Yeah, which is that the old Fermi paradox, right? They suggest that as part of that idea, that the reason why we don't see this super highway of UFOs zipping through the sky on the constant, well, it depends on who you ask, I guess. There are people that say they see them all the time, and I'm not downing that. I'm saying that you can't put a telescope up and take a picture and bring it back and be like, yep, I see Bleep Blop 5 in that UFO, and then give us a high definition version of it. Is that these civilizations end up destroying themselves. They end up becoming so technologically relevant that they become irrelevant, and it ends up whatever that button is. You know what the other take is? We had about a minute left. I don't want to give it's too deep, but your take on that.
No worries. I'll try to be succinct. Yeah, the Fermi paradox is often in contrast to the Drake equation. The Drake equation is like there's X number of planets, X number of stars, and all the laws of physics are the same everywhere, so there should be life in other places. And the Fermi paradox is like, okay, where is it? And there's different versions of it. Like the one you were describing was like the Zoo paradox, which is like Star Trek, where people warp and have subspace communications, so they're not actually taking place in the physical world, so you don't see them except for popping in and out, and they wait till you get to a certain level of advancement before saying, oh yeah, there's actually life everywhere, we've just been hiding from you. And then there's like the super predator theory, which is there's some advanced species out there that once another species gets to a certain level of technology, they wipe them out, take their resources or whatever. But the most common one is simply that there's been plenty of time for any galactic species to colonize the galaxy, and that's not happened, and we don't see anything. So, who knows? It's hard to say. It's a big place, man, right? Like what, 1.5 million light years across?
So I don't even know the number. It's big. It's very, very big.
It's big, yeah.
That's fair enough.
They could be anywhere. It could happen any day. You never know. You don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and in food for thought, what I wanted to drop, and we'll talk about this another time, is that is it possible we evolved to energy in some capacity anyway? And so we're witnessing it out there. We see them everywhere. We just can't quantify them as life. Eric, please send me your links. I'm gonna share your channel when we get back. Amazing stuff. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for listening. Thanks for contributing. Thanks for being fire on Johnny on the spot here. You were the best. Eric, we'll troubledminds.org/friends. Follow Eric. He's not on there now. He will be on there very soon. Do check that out. We're talking spells of science, the new age of molecular magic. Where's my Pegasus? Be right back. More Troubled Minds coming up. Nobody on the line if you want to jump in here. Love to hear your thoughts.
Drifting through the quantum haze. Mind entangled in a daze. Whispers in the neural mist. Echoes of what might exist. Lost in time in this web we spin. It's alright beyond our skin. Consciousness forever twined in the dark unseen. Quantum dreams, we're all connected. Though we're scattered, we are reflected. Frequencies that pull us in. Parallel worlds kept within. Synapses that intertwine. Fragments of an endless line. of a distant star. It's alright, we are who we are. In the void we find the light in tangled hearts. Quantum dreams, we're all connected. In the silence, hear the call. One by one we rise and fall. Quantum minds forever near. In this world so clear. Quantum dreams, we're all connected. Though we're scattered, we are reflected. Dark energy in the depths we find. Mysteries of the human mind. Particles that drift afar. Whispers of who we are. Hold the thread of the great unknown. It's alright, we are never alone. Flow through time on currents thin. Universe is found within. Feel the echoes of the past. In this moment, futures cast. Through the veil of the space between. It's alright, life's a lucid dream.
Indeed. What's up, friends? I hope you're well tonight. Just doing what we do, talking about wild stuff. A great call from Eric. I'll share his YouTube channel when we get back here. And this is what this is all about, talking to regular people about extraordinary things and considering what comes next, because I don't know. Clearly, if you got a crystal ball, I'd love to hear it, and I'd love to hear what might be on the horizon here. But the acceleration seems to be in play and the quickening upon us, or nah. Let's find out. More troubled minds happening. Yeah. Welcome back to Troubled Minds. I'm your host, Michael Strange. Yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. All the places, all the things. Links are in the description down below. So you want to be part of the show tonight? We're talking about the spells of science. I'm calling it the new age of molecular magic. We started with this wild idea of this evolutionary scale of 500 million years ago. Creating an incomplete protein, feeding it into a large language model, an AI system that could go back and simulate evolution as we understand it and create a completely alien protein that we can recreate. Seems wild, right? Seems almost too good to be true is what it seems, but also maybe too bad to be true. I don't know. As usual, right? These opposite ends play here. The dichotomy of the conversation seems to be recognized to this. This is an interesting part, and I brought this up previously, but we are in a polarized society, and recognize doom or abundance doesn't have to be the outcomes, as Eric was saying there. Fire call, appreciate that. And so the question really is, what should we expect? Because if we all manifest this together, right, again, the zeitgeist plays. The human want is not something that will fade into the darkness. I don't believe that. Like James said very smartly, we're here. Lots of bad things, good things happen between here and there, whatever that looks like, however far back you want to go into the scale of time. And so what does this look like? I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic, but that's typically me, and I'm just kind of built into my DNA. But speaking of built into DNA, I'm going to talk about that in just a second. James, anything to add to that or anything Eric said? And phone lines are open if you guys want to be part of the show tonight, 702-957-1037. You can click the Discord link at troubledminds.org or troubledminds.net. Pop on in here, put your hand up, and I want to talk to you. I want to know you. I want to meet you. I want to talk about wild ideas, and I don't want to talk about who to vote for. Yeah. Notice. We've got a very long track record of just avoiding that stuff entirely because those are their narratives. Let's talk about dreams. Let's talk about conceptual thought. Let's talk about what tomorrow might bring. James, anything to add there?
Just great call from Eric. I also agree. I don't think, as Matt has said before, one person's utopia is another person's dystopia. So any kind of, extremes, really, they may be good for a handful of people, but I doubt they're going to be perfect for everyone. So, yeah, I think that's combine that with the idea that we've been here, and as Eric did say, he mentioned the sun sort of having its own cycle, and eventually, millions of years, billions of years, whatever it is, from now, we may not be able to live here anyway. But at that point, hopefully by then, we will have figured things out enough to find somewhere else to go if we need to.
Yeah, we've either nuked ourselves beyond recognition, crispy time, which makes no difference in the end because the sun will crispy time us anyway. But back to my thought there, right? Exactly. I mean, and that is part of that Fermi paradox, and very smartly. Eric knows his stuff because he's talking about a lot of stuff. The dark forest hypothesis, we've talked about that as well. The zoo hypothesis, all kinds of things kind of fit into this larger context. But I do wonder, as I described when I was kind of at the finish there of that call in the conversation, was I wonder if eventually we do evolve into light in some capacity, right? And that would suggest the opposite of the Fermi paradox. It would suggest that life is everywhere. We just are not smart enough to quantify it in terms of plasma, in terms of, maybe light itself. Okay. And I know it sounds ridiculous to say that, but think about it in terms of that non-temporal entity, which would be this AI system, which we're developing. It's not a thing yet. I mean, it doesn't have agency and arms, and it's not growing out of the ground or appearing in the Vegas sphere as a bow down to me, children, I am your master. It's not doing any of that yet. Okay. But if we're building agency, superintelligence agency, I do wonder if that is parallel to, let's say, the not just the substrate of reality, but the consciousness itself. Like consciousness is out there and we're born into it and it finds its space within us. You know what I mean? But then we perish. We're temporary, normal human lifespan, but then that consciousness recedes and then finds new life. I wonder if we're dealing with something more to that, more woo, right? And so as what's the old term? Things are probably more what's the damn term? Stargate than Star Trek, right? Something to that effect. I don't know. Anyway, just an idea to throw out there. But get crispier with CRISPR. What's up, Sonia? Yeah, I don't know. Just ideas here. But it seems to me that when you're talking about the long evolution of a species like this, we are at that temporal inflection point that I'm always talking about. The quickening is here. And what does it mean? And how do we sort of... Transhumanism is one way, as Eric was saying, again, very smartly. But does that eventually merge us entirely with a non-temporal consciousness, energy itself, that's been there all along? And so it's sort of the cycle, right? The beginning and the end all exist at the same time. Like I said, it may be too woo for you, and it may be complete nonsense. But I don't know. It does tickle a bit of my brain that makes me go, Anything to add to that, James? We got Kramos on the line. We'll go to him momentarily.
Yeah, just that so much of, I've mentioned this before, and I can't remember if it was here or my own show. That's what happens when you do so many shows, is that so many reports of anything anomalous, whether it's aliens or even cryptids, whatever they may be, or ghosts or spirits, so much of it does involve light and or energy. So it's amazing to think that, what would the interaction between that and some kind of digital or some kind of data entity look like? Could they also exist as light in other ways, in other places? So, yeah, I think that's we may be here temporarily as we are, but I do wonder if We come from somewhere else and we go somewhere else. After and before our human bodies that we have now. What if we are other things as well at other points in time?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Look, you know me, like I said, trying to be as agnostic as possible in all the ways, step outside of the dogmas and think about this without limitation, because eventually that's what this universe becomes, right? So I don't know. Again, is it all nonsense? You decide. I have no idea. And so no truth, just ideas. That's exactly the point of these conversations. And just real quick, I dropped Eric's link, his YouTube's link in the chat there. Please go give him a follow on his YouTube channel. Say hi. Say nice to meet you. Thanks for being part of the Troubled Minds fam. Whatever you want to say, go meet the dude. Go say hi. Go check out his podcast. He's got several hundred episodes. I was listening to a couple of them. And he's got a partner there. Very smart guy, as you can tell. Please check it out. And we'll get a link from him. He's a musician as well. So please help our friends. We'll get all that information to you. It will be troubledminds.org/friends. It'll say follow Eric here. So please do that when it's live. Eric, if you can, please get me a link tree and we'll love to hear your music and follow you and help you out in all the ways. You are the best. You're all the best. 702-957-1037. Click the Discord link at troubledminds.org. We're talking again. This is not this is an AI show only because of the quickening. Like we went, probably months and months and months without talking about AI specifically until the quickening began. And now this has turned into an AI show, but recognize all the different angles to take it from. Anyway, just a reminder that there are other ways to look at the world. Kramos, what's up, brother? You're on Troubled Minds. How are you, sir? And go right ahead.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. Speak up loud and clear, please. You are very, very quiet. I've got you pumped up 200% in all the places and you're still quiet.
Can you hear me now better?
Yes, just speak loud and clear. That was way better. Louder, go. Welcome to the joint.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. How are you?
I'm well. And you, sir? Go right ahead. What's on your mind?
Fine.
And glad to hear.
The new age of molecular magic, it's like a video game title.
It feels like it, right?
Age of Empires. Yeah. It's like Age of Empires.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, very short. I did use DeepSeek today, and I'm not afraid, but I am a little shocked because I'm thinking about what is going to happen in some way, not to be a fear porn freak, but I think this is before and after in the market of artificial intelligence,
Yeah, I feel you. There is that again. So it's interesting. Like I said, the polarizing bit. There's the doomers that are like, "Oh, we're so cooked," and there's the accelerationists that are like, "Well, everybody will have everything." Yeah, both of them seem ridiculous to me to say those words in this moment. But who knows? Like I said, who really knows? It's anybody's best guess at this point. But I think you're spot on with that thought because I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how many times I can say I don't know, but I'll continue to say it.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to read very shortly the question that I did to DeepSeek, and is, I am curious and fearful about the advance of a Chinese artificial intelligence engine and the repercussions it will have facing the actions and measures of the Western world so that their artificial intelligence projects are not overcome. And the answer is very long, but I'm not going to read it all. I'm just going to read this part. That is the point number 4, how the West might respond. And it says, to avoid being overcome, Western strategies could include accelerating innovation, ethical leadership, regulate strategically and secure supply chains and military preparedness, invest in AI for defense while advocating for international bans on autonomous weapons. So it's for me, it's fun. If I can make this question and read these answers, it's fun in in a very fantastic and oniric way, because if they turn my existence into a robot, I'm gonna be the funniest robot ever.
I'm with you. I'm going to be the most dreamy, ridiculous galaxy brain robot. I'll be like, oh yeah, what about the 88th dimension? That's the robot I'm going to be. Okay, now here's the thing. Okay, now let me ask you, and this is let's turn this into a DeepSeek moment for a bit here. So I recommended everybody try DeepSeek on the last show. Right now, I'm going to say only try DeepSeek if you don't mind the Chinese Communist Party data mining you. This is like TikTok again, sort of on steroids, okay? Because it's inputs and outputs, and it's I don't know if it's tracking keystrokes. Nobody knows this yet. But you know how I know this? Ask it about Tiananmen Square, okay? 1989. Ask it about the massacre in the square. I've got the local version, and I can run it locally on my machine without any internet. Both versions I've been trained to say, oh, that's a sensitive subject, I can't talk about it. So as usual, they say that if you can't criticize, what's the saying? To know who your masters are, recognize who you can't criticize. And so that particular thing, like I said, I asked it the question last night, both online on the deepseek.com, chat.deepseek.com. So it is Chinese spyware. I'm going to say that. Intuition, I don't have the code base to back it up and say for sure. But if they've limited it to that effect where you can't even get the historical aspect of it, I even prompted it several times to try and get it to say, you know what it was, because it gives you its thinking process, which is impressive. It's like, this user continues to ask me about this. What is it trying to do? What does this user want from me? Does it want to probe my limits? Does it want to talk about controversial things? It was kind of going through that whole process. But anyway, so trust me on that. I've got ways to it. Go to groq.com, Grok, the other Grok, not Elon's Grok, and you can run it, a local version in the cloud that doesn't go to the CCP. I'm just saying. So I'm backing off that now. I said, everybody use it. Now only use it if you want your information going to the CCP. I don't use TikTok either anymore. I'm just saying. But anyway, yeah, I'm impressed with the technology. I really am. But I just wanted to make clear on that why I've, again, in a couple of days, changed my mind. Anyway, go ahead. What else you got? Fire stuff. We're talking, of course, about spells of science, the new age of molecular magic. Sorry to stomp on your DeepSeek dreams. Go ahead, sir.
I know. Take it easy. I'm just. I'm going to send you all the text that DeepSeek put me to read, and the final thought is: fear is natural when facing transformative technologies, but the future isn't predetermined. The West emphasis on ethics, creativity, and democratic values could counterbalance China's scale and speed. If it acts decisively, excuse my English. Meanwhile, global citizens like you can push for AI that serves humanity, not just power blocks.
And that's true. And I believe that. Follow Brian Remley on, again, Twitter X. He's always talking about this. Local AIs, not built into the cloud, not built into other people's bias, not built into systems or all the rest of this. It's one thing to scrape the internet and say, okay, we're predicting the next token. It's another thing entirely to encapsulate the entire human experience. It's impossible. I mean, look, we spent thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years trying to do this together, and we still haven't perfected that. Whatever that means. Again, define it any way you want, and that's the problem. And also, the beautiful part of it is everybody can see life any way they want to see it. And then what you just read there, or what you just said, is incredible. And I agree. And that's the point. But we need to demand better and recognize what's happening to us. And that's why I wanted to backtrack and point out that DeepSeek by itself on their website is a funnel into the CCP like TikTok. Just a reminder, because I'm nearly, I would bet 95% that's the case. But yeah, fire stuff. Regarding evolution and this aspect of 500 million years in the past, do you think it is possible to do, as we've been describing all night, to get like a protein, remove half the elements from it, put it into a system, and then say, okay, simulate evolution over a long period of time and kind of fill in the gaps in some other way? Do you think this is possible, or do you think this is some other nonsense hype that we should ignore?
Wow. I'm not into science that deep, but I think they already did it with the pandemic. I think I believe in the information that I read about they accelerate the process of that virus could go inside human cells, because coronavirus was always present in animals, but to teach and accelerate the process that virus could learn how to go inside human cells, I think I believe in that. So I think they accelerated an 800 years process to a decade, and they accomplished a lot of business. And I think it's possible. I mean, with the help of AI, I think they can. I don't know. I think they will try to do bad things, but I think the things that humankind will accomplish, it will be only positive, productive things with AI.
Fair enough. Let's manifest that. I'm with you. Let's manifest that future together and make it so. But also, by the way, recognize these AI systems again. If they're in the cloud, in some capacity, they will data mine you and end up in the end using it against you. Okay.
Hey, I appreciate the advice, but I figured this out. I'm gonna ask Meta, ChatGPT, and Copilot, and DeepSeek to help me to create my own AI to be funny and teach being funny.
Exactly, and that's where the future is. By the way, that is the future. Again, follow Brian. Shout out James. Follow Brian Remley, just like it sounds. Not like it sounds. It's spelled like this: x.com/Brian ROEMMELE, and he's basically spent an unbelievable amount of time building a human-centric AI system. Okay, he's dumpster diving old archived videos and microfiche and old things that have been literally wiped from the internet because he's been hoarding this stuff in his garage for a long time, and he's now building the old ideas into an AI system that loves humans. And that's his entire point. So do follow him. Again, please go check that out if you're not on X. If you just search it, a link will be in the description down below. Thanks again to James for linking that on the fly, because I'm doing a lot of things. But yeah, it is where we're headed. Imagine a future where we're not, where we are transhuman in some capacity, but we're not locked into a Neuralink that's built into the cloud. We have our own personal AIs that have been built on us. Like you said, you want to teach it to be funny. You want it to help you be funny. You want to collaborate to bring joy to the world. That's the AI we need, and disconnect it from the web entirely and just have it locally on your person, in your sunglasses or in your, little clip on your belt or something, or, dare I say, a chip in your head. But I don't want to go there, but yeah. I'm
gonna build the AI to teach to make transhuman jokes.
Yeah, hell yeah, they'll do it now. But that's exactly the point. Yeah, fire stuff. Got a couple minutes left. If you got a final thought, you're the best, brother.
No, bro, that's it. Being funny to transform problems into jokes, it's possible, and it's very healthy. That's it.
Amen. You're the best. Troubledminds.org/friends. Scroll down, follow Kramos here. Go check out his stuff. He is on the list now, and a friend. And thank you for thinking and dreaming with us and caring about these ideas and being you. You're the best, brother. Happy belated birthday from a couple days ago. Thanks again for being here.
Hey, thank you, friend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
You as well. Have a great night. It's Kramos. There you go. Kramos in Chile. And link's going to be in the description down below. Go to check it out. Troubledminds.org/friends. Click it. Troubledminds.org. Scroll down. It's Kramos right there. His YouTube channel. Right there. Click it. Go follow him. Again, 95% of these follows are free. Go follow their YouTube channels. Go check out their podcasts. Please. Let's help each other. Like I said, it might take you, a day or two or whatever with the 20 minutes here or there. But please go help these amazing people. Follow the things they're working on. A lot of artists, a lot of ideas, a lot of thinkers, and that's exactly the point here. To wrap this, I think that there's and we didn't get to it. I kind of wanted to get to it, but we'll peel it off for another show. Maybe not tomorrow, even though these ideas kind of just flow from one to the next into the other. But this, I want to get into this, and I'll think about this. I'll dream about this. But the deal is this, right? PennLive.com reported this. It's alive. Sort of. Scientists have revived portions of the dead brain. And they're talking about pigs, slaughterhouse pigs or whatever, right? And it's a little terrifying to consider. But it got me wondering about consciousness itself. And they made very clear at the end of this article, consciousness was not restored, okay? But I wonder, where DNA being our source code, if consciousness itself is sort of the antenna from the meat suit experience, from the physical realm or world or whatever you want to call it, into the consciousness aspect, like a universal level consciousness. You get what I mean? And so I do wonder, because those dead brains, we've got mummified Egyptian pharaohs that we can withdraw their DNA. I do wonder if there's a way to re-tap into that consciousness with the code itself, the source code of the individual, which would be their DNA. I don't know. That's a whole nother show for a whole nother time, because it's late. We're about to wrap. Anything on that, James? As you know, we got a minute or two left. If you got anything to chip in, and let's get out of here.
That's that's quite the idea. I don't know. It's really wild. I always wonder too. I mean, this could all be could be part of that. Could be separate. I don't know. But I mean, we've discussed this before, and sort of people have different ideas on it. Whether or not any kind of machine could be complex enough at any point to become another version of the antenna for consciousness. And I don't know that that's happening right now, that could happen right now, but if machines become advanced enough, and if you can build them out of sort of biological materials at some point, then I wonder if that could ever happen. So a lot of questions there. And thank you for having me on the show as always. Let me sit here and sit in. And great show. Great calls from everyone.
You're the best, brother. As you know, thanks for being flexible with all the calls and whatnot. James is the glue of the show. If nobody calls initially, he jumps in here and he's like, all right, I'm your Huckleberry. And if not, he waits. He's like, oh, we got some calls. I'll just sit back and chill and see what happens. He's always helping us out, always helping the conversation and the flow and everything else. If you're not following James at this point, you're hurting my feelings. Please, troubledminds.org/friends. Go follow James. All the links are there. I'll show you again. Go to the troubledminds.org, click on friends. It'll load up and it says James right there. Just click it. You'll get his actual link tree where he's got books he's written, podcasts. What, 700? How many damn podcasts, James? 800 podcasts? You're killing me.
You're killing me. 718 are out as of now.
There you go. The paranormal expert of Troubled Minds. If you're into paranormal true stories from the web and different paranormal ways to look at the world, James is becoming, in my opinion, I'm biased, of course, because he's a good friend and a very good dude. He's becoming the paranormal expert of, dare I say, the realm. That's a good way to put it, the realm. Not just Troubled Minds, of the realm. But if you're into that stuff, please go listen. His episodes are about 24 minutes long or so, and they're bite-sized for a commute. So please go check that out. Again, James, you're the best. Thanks for sitting in. Thanks for being the glue. Thanks for being part of this. I appreciate you very much, as you know. And that's that. Let's wrap it and get the F out of here and push this button right. Oh, my goodness. Is it that one? That's the one. That's the one. There you go. Please, while you're down there, again, troubledminds.org/friends. Help all these amazing people. There's a lot of amazing folks that have made this show go. Like I said, think about this. Quick thought experiment as we get out of here. If you listen to me ramble on by myself, taking threads of ideas into bizarre spaces, I sound like a madman. Literally. I'm not. As you can tell, I'm not. But recognize what happens when you collaborate with other people, when you bounce ideas off of other people, when you consider, what am I missing? When you consider deferring truth, deferring ego, deferring all those things, and in a moment, going cosmic together, you see? Suddenly, it doesn't just validate the Pharaoh philosophy, which I really like to call it now, but also it leads us into the future. Whatever that looks like. I don't know. You don't know. Nobody really knows. If only we could take the deceased brain of Nostradamus and retool him into a seer for the modern times. Like I said, blasphemy, I know. I make it a joke. But nobody knows. I don't know. It's a special thing. And thanks for being part of this. I appreciate it very much. It's, like I said, a dream come true talking to all you amazing people and all the amazing folks that listen to this show. A dream come true being on terrestrial radio. And, of course, the podcast feed. Nearly 1 million downloads. I'm beside myself every time I think about it. Pinch me. Here we are. What comes next? What future do we manifest together? And that's exactly the point of these conversations. If you want to help Troubled Minds, help our friends, troubledminds.org/friends. The .org website loads a little slow for the episodes, so if it shows mock episodes, you'll know why. Go to troubledminds.net if you want that. They're a little faster. But click Good Pods, iTunes, Spotify, it's all there. Spreaker, etc., so on. And the support link again, shout out Squigs. Thank you for subbing up on Rumble. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know you could sub up on Rumble. So thank you for that. I appreciate that for even letting me know. I mean, I think you're the only one. You guys are the best. As we finish, what else? I don't know. Let's go to the support page and talk about how to support Troubled Minds. As I spend most of my time not even talking about this, you could sub up straight on Spreaker, Ko-Fi, Patreon. There's Rockfin, Buy Me a Coffee. The shop has all the hoodies and merchandise and all the stuff. Let's go to troubledminds.org/support. All those options are there. And I think you can, if you want to tip directly, a one-time tip that works on Rockfin or Rumble, Buy Me a Coffee, Ko-Fi. Anyway, like I said, I got a day job. I'm not in this to make $1 million. But as we finish, it goes exactly like this. Be sure, be strong, be true. Thank you for listening. From our Troubled Minds to yours, have a great night. That one's for Kramos. Happy birthday, buddy. And you guys are the best. We'll see you the day after tomorrow, Thursday night, God willing. And thank you for being part of this. Like I said, you make my world go round. I hope